everybody, welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek.Aloud. It's a Tuesday night, it's 8 p.m-ish. We're kind of close, of course. Unkie Dunkie's with me on Discord. Steve, how are you this evening, my friend?
Mate, I am very well. Unkie's back again.
Guess who's back? Who else is back? Bully, you're here with us as well on Discord. How you doing, mate?
I am. A little bit of a break there, but we're back. So hopefully we can jump right off where we left. And I'll say it's Tuesday 4 weeks ago somewhere.
Indeed it is. Parallel dimensions are calling me. All right, so first off, let me tell you the run of show, shall I? We open up with games Interrogation, Deliberation, 6 deep dives into the games we've been playing in the 4-week hiatus, a little bit of overtime potentially after that. Then, Unkie Dunkie, during that 4 weeks, has been training intensely. He has new methods and techniques to kick in that newsroom door, and boy, has he found some great stories on the other side. They're all covered to you after the game's Interrogation and Deliberation. Not only was he working on his door kicking in techniques, he was also working on his standoff negotiation techniques. So, Steve, who's in the standoff for us this evening?
Mate, just given the fact that G.E.A. is back from the dead this week, we are looking at game franchises that should come back from the dead. And should it be a new game in that series or a next version of those games in their franchise? So we've got a pretty decent list tonight, so get your thinking caps on.
Indeed. Get your thinking caps on, audience, because then we're coming to you. That's right. All show in that YouTube chat. Throw in any thoughts and comments you have. And at the end, segment 4, we round them all up and get straight back to you. Unless, of course, you were Matt Cypress on the last episode where YouTube ate the whole end of the show. And, Matt, we did answer all your questions, but unfortunately, YouTube decided to throw it in the recycle bin and hit delete. So, sorry about that. Anyway, where does that bring us to? You know it's Games Interrogation and Deliberation. First up this evening, we have the almighty, I guess, Saints Row. Unkie Dunkie, you've gone hands-on, mate. What did you think?
Mate, yeah, hands-on. And I had really low expectations for this game based on the reviews that we had sort of seen and come out quite early for this game, and I'm not sure whether that's because people aren't playing as John McClane himself just yet, but yeah, playing as John McClane definitely elevates the experience for me.
Wait a minute, John McClane, does that this one right here? Here you go, Unkie Dunkie. John is on the screen now, mate. Sorry, back to you.
No, that's all right. Can we just check my audio? Bully seems to think I'm a little bit muffled. How's it coming through, Bully?
You sound a little bit over-modulated, if anything, mate. I'd say just back the microphone away from your mouth a whisker and we'll be all good.
Well, I'm using wireless headphones, so it's nowhere near my mouth.
Well, you're coming through a bit better now, mate. No, you're coming through pretty good now. Yep.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. We can keep talking about games. There you go. I think you can see my footage on screen as we speak. The old John McClane just popping off headshots as he does.
Oh, yes. Looking great.
If I can have this like power fantasy of playing as John McClane in a Die Hard movie, for some reason that's what's making me enjoy this game, probably more than a lot of other people. So I'm looking past a couple of the gripes that those people have had. Like for me, Splinter's never really been about the story for me. Like, yeah, it's had a story, but it's not something that I'm playing before. And it's, they've already, they've gotten pretty wacky in the time, especially with Quarry playing as a superhero and you can fly and that kind of stuff. This one's slightly more grounded back to some of your Saints Row 1 and 2, but I think the problem they've found is they're trying to sort of cater to two different crowds of people that want the bombastic, over-the-top stuff of the more recent Saints Row 3 and 4, and then the other people that like the Saints Row 1 and 2, and they've sort of met somewhere in between, and when you're not trying to please anyone specifically, you're not pleasing anyone. So I think that's where a lot of the negativity is coming down on the game at the moment. But for me, I'm just enjoying sort of a fun romp through a open world sort of crime-based city, which, we haven't had sort of one of these kind of games for a while. They used to be a dime a dozen, and, G.E.A. is sort of right before with most people. So, the fact that this game's coming out, it's sort of, even though we used to always get, it's almost like a breath of fresh air with playing something from the olden days. It's just kind of almost a nostalgia trip, but it's slightly better one because, we're getting some fancy new graphics and all that kind of stuff as well. So,
Unkie, I have, mate, but just quickly before I take the mic off you, we're seeing Nathan Drake on screen, it appears. Tell us about that one.
Hey, there we go. There's my Nathan Drake. Yeah, that's what you usually do. We credit Nathan Drake in every game that I play when you get a chance. But that's one of the strengths of this game is it has got some of the best customization I think I've seen, and I am all for cosmetics and customization in games. And I think that's another reason this game speaks to me because not only have you got the character stuff that you can create to such degrees, you can create a character that looks almost identical to what you want, but you've got car customization, which has been awesome. I've created multiple versions of my Batmobile that I like from the most recent Batman flick, and the nice V8 engine sound. Although that being said, the sound in this game has been a little bit wonky. The car sounds can be quite muffled under all the other sounds, so you've got to tweak it just so you can hear it right. But you get the gun customization as well, so you can customize your guns. So you want to look. I've got a Magnum gun now that if I want, I can use the skin just to have a foam finger. Same gun that looks like a giant foam finger from a baseball match, just stuff like that. They've still got the wacky in there. It's just not quite over the top. That being said, I also played through a whole story mission that was pretty much me just laughing and playing as like kind of like a Mad Max side story thing where like the guns you're using are all versions of like Nerf guns, but they're all sort of being played as they're real. And it was really enjoyable. It made me want to go play another game, which I'll talk about in my overtime. You can try.
Well, I can, mate, because as we're seeing on the screen right now, this is me playing through one of the first missions. I think this is about 40 minutes in for me, and this looks a lot like Mad Max to my eyes. I'm on the back of a convoy, I'm shooting off a gun, I'm jumping from car to car. I'm going to say I'm only 2 hours into the game, but I haven't experienced the glitches. Well, I have experienced some incredibly minor glitches. There's definitely that pop-in that people are reporting, but to your point, Steve, I have not seen the bevy of complaints that are about online for this. And this mission, I got to say, was funny. I was laughing at it. If you get away from the main team characters and you're in a single-player mission, as you're seeing now, I'm having a great time with it. And the way this mission ends, Steve, do you think I can drop the ending of this mission? It is from the first hour of the game, so I don't think it's really spoiler territory. What are your thoughts on it?
I just check. Can you still hear me?
I've got you just fine, man. You're actually sounding a lot cleaner too.
Oh, beautiful. I might just, I've ditched my wireless headphones is just sort of turned off, so I'm just going to go loudspeaker on my phone. So if I'm coming through loud and clear, I'll just stick with this.
It's perfect, mate. You're on point. But you think I can spoil the end of this mission? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, no, mate, this is right at the start of the game. I don't think it's an issue at all. Go for it.
Perfect. So what I love about the way this mission ends, it's just like stupid action 80s flick fun. That convoy truck I'm on top of there, I'm in a fist fight at the end. You'll see it if we get far enough in the footage. I'm in a fist fight with the end boss there, and the culmination is the truck. After I'm fighting with him, he's like perched on the side of the cliff. I just throw a yoni up at it, and the truck drops on his head and kills him. It was hilarious. I absolutely loved it. So as I said, I'm only 2 hours in, but the stupid comedy, the stupid levity they're taking with the script is, to me, an absolute breath of fresh air. I've played one too many games that have taken themselves way too seriously recently. So for me, Saints Row, once again, glitches aside, and I'm only 2 hours in, and I hear the glitches escalate the deeper you get in. So I am by no means giving it a pass from the glitches front. However, I will defend the writers of this game. I think these single-player missions are just stupid fun. And me, I love stupid fun. So to your point, Unkie, like the original Saints Row, just stupid fun. The only thing this is missing so far from me is that dubstep gun from Saints Row 4, and I'd be tickled down to the ground. But Bully, have you gone hands-on, mate? And what are your thoughts?
No, I haven't gone hands-on, and I think that's probably one of the reasons I haven't is I'm probably a little bit disappointed in that there was that opening in the market, really. When you look at GTA 5's been out for the better part of a decade. We're not going to get GTA 6 anytime soon. And as you said before, Steve, we used to get these a dime a dozen when everyone was trying to rip off and do the GTA clones. There's, at the moment, this wide open area, as far as I can see, that if they had have put a bit more polish on it, maybe got rid of some of those bugs and you didn't have those issues, this could almost be a GTA killer 20 years after they had a first go at it, as far as I can see. But from what I'm seeing, it's, as you said, it's a lot more toned down than 3 and 4 were, which just were ridiculously over the top. But I actually really liked the first one when it was, I can't remember the name of the gang that you were in, because it wasn't Grove Street. I think that was the Saints. Well, there you go. A doofus. The first one, when you were just part of that gang trying to build up your gang in the city, I actually really enjoyed that low-level sort of not over the top sort of thing. You're just trying to take over a little bit of territory by a little bit of territory. I really enjoyed that part. So I'm just wondering.
Check it out, mate. This is that game. This is exactly what you're asking for. That is this game. It's rebuild your empire. Start from the ground, ground up.
Yeah, and a lot of people have said they don't like the sort of supporting characters so far, and I've had no real issue with them. They're not offensive.
I'll second it. They annoy me to no end.
I mean, it's weird because like the Asian-y sort of friend guy, he sounds a lot like Johnny Gat. I had to look it up to make sure it wasn't the same actor playing him because he sounds very similar. I don't know whether that's deliberate because they kind of want people to sort of harken back to Johnny Gat, but he sounds very similar to me. But yeah, I mean, an advice I can have to enjoy this game further. I found a lot of people saying that a lot of the combat guns don't feel punchy or whatever, but for me, like they've got really good accessibility options with customizing what damage you can do with enemies and stuff. So you can have enemy damage like right down to 0 if you like, and then your gun starts right there doing more damage. And for me, that makes the game so much more fun. Like you can land headshots and they're going down in one spot.
Yeah, mate. Let me ask you this: are you on the Xbox or the PlayStation?
I'm on the Xbox, and I don't know. A lot of people, a lot of reviews I've seen have also said that the PS5 and the PC version have been really buggy. I haven't had that many bugs at all on the Xbox.
Pump the brakes on that, though, mate. Back to the controller. The PS5 DualSense makes the shooting in this game feel great. So I'd almost suggest this is an Xbox versus PlayStation fanboy argument. I say play this on the PlayStation. That's the footage that you're seeing here is off the PlayStation 5 version that I've been playing. But the gunplay feels fantastic in it. The DualSense is doing its DualSense thing, and it really makes the gunplay come home, mate. I think maybe that's just a console of choice issue.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, obviously, later on when you fight some sort of the tougher enemies and stuff, they can take quite a while to take down as well. So I'm more than happy to use my sliders as well. but
no complaints there, mate. Slide away.
And it's got a lot of graphical options, but I think I found the best one, probably the 1440p at 60 frames per second mode. I'm not sure what you're sort of using.
I went the 1080p max frame rate option. I wanted that silky smooth look myself.
Yeah, feel free to bump it up to the 1440p because then you get sort of slightly higher resolution. Plus, you get the 60 frames, and I don't see it dropping frames ever.
Oh, well,
I'd read a slightly better picture. Go that 1440p mode.
I'd read online that kicking it up to the 1440p started to dip into the top end of the frame rate. Like maybe it was dropping off 60 and hitting 55 or 50. But if that's not the case, I'll absolutely step it up.
No issues at all. So yeah, feel free to do that. Another thing, a lot of people say they didn't like the car mechanics and stuff. I'm really enjoying the way the cars handle. Like hitting that button and just doing those handbrake turns around corners just feels really good. Like it's arcadey, but it works every time. You never feel like your car's going to scoot off the road. It's just you can use your X button. For me, it's the X button. Cross button. For you, it'd be square.
Yeah, left stick and square. Yep.
Ram cars.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's it's sort of similar to Mad Max, where you get to ram cars off the road and all that stuff. And I just find it quite fun. It's just I don't know. I don't know whether it's because it's come at this time where I just want something silly and stupid, and you don't really have to think about it. And I'm playing as Bruce Willis or Nathan Drake. Either way, it's fun. But
I've got to get my hands on Bruce Willis, Stephen. Please tell everyone your pro tip for getting that one to happen.
Yeah, so if you go into the boss creation tools, where you can switch out the way your character looks any time in the game, which is really good. Like you can just go into I can't remember the menu. I think it's bosses or something like that. And then you just go into community creations, and then you can just bring up anyone that anyone's created and just download them straight to your boss group. So you can just switch them out whenever you want. So I can switch from Bruce Willis, Nathan Drake. I've now got a Jackie Chan one.
Oh, awesome!
I've got Ryan Reynolds.
Have they Deadpooled him? Can they Deadpool the costume on him? Or?
I have seen the Deadpool, but I didn't download Deadpool. I downloaded literally a Ryan Reynolds one. It's just Ryan Reynolds. I'm like, it's pretty cool.
Him in Free Guy with that blue shirt would be pretty funny too.
Oh, that's true. I could dress him up as Free Guy. That's I might do it, but there's so many creations that people have come up with, and some of them are real. I've got Tom Cruise as well, so I could like fantasy players like Mission Impossible if I want, and it looks just like him. It's just the character creation of this stuff is just part of the whole fun of this, and I don't know whether all the reviewers that review this game obviously reviewed release versions of the game, and I'm not sure whether they had a lot more bugs, but I haven't really had any game-breaking bugs at all. The worst I've seen is the animation for the finishing moves, where you'll hit those finishing moves, and sometimes the enemies you're hitting aren't even being hit by you, or they're doing some kind of weird glitch. That's probably the extent of my sort of issues in terms of glitches and bugs at the moment. So not too bad.
Fair enough, man. I'm glad to hear that you're saying I can switch out the characters midway because, as I said, I'm only 2 hours in and I was imagining I had to restart to get Bruce Willis in there. But you've just given me the best bit of news. I'll continue on at the 2 hour mark as Bruce Willis with that switch. But back to the writing. Sorry, I've just seen this cutscene and it's prompted me. Remember how we were talking about Halo Infinite and my assertion was that the open air stuff, the open world, sorry, is the phrase I'm looking for. The open world team felt like a different team to the basement team, the indoor team. Like it had a really different feel to it.
Yeah.
I would assert that the writing team on this game were in two different silos. I think all the single-player campaign stuff, like all this cutscene, is back to what I was saying before about that, 80s action flick, just stupid, silly, fun writing, just over the top and very enjoyable. That team nailed it. The team that were involved in writing all the dialogue for your sidekicks, I say kick those guys to the curb. All the single-player stuff's brilliant. Anytime you're just about in your, your gang headquarters and your other teams spouting off, like, I can't get out of there quick enough. I don't want to hear them at all. Stop complaining. I'm gone.
No, that's fair enough. And I think, and you're speaking about like Halo's world creating as well. Like I think their world and the area they've created to sort of stuff around in this game, I think is really good. It's a bit quite unique being out in the desert, but I think they do it really well, and it's just quite fun to explore these areas and like the amount of like stuff that you can hit. It just flies like bins and sidewalks and even trees. Yeah, it's not realistic, but it's just fun to drive around because you're not getting hampered by hitting a lot of these things. There's like particle effects, and like I hit a car earlier tonight. That was I didn't realize it was full of like fireworks in the back, and I hit the back of this car, and all the fireworks just started going off, and it was just like it's just really cool, sort of small little things like this that I don't think the game is sort of getting enough credit for when it comes to sort of some of the stuff it is doing. I think everyone's sort of leaning into that. No, let's hate on Saints Row.
Yeah,
where people are getting their views obviously because if you like this game, apparently you're not going to get any views. But even just the jumping on top, like watching the footage there, you can just jump on the top of a car whenever you want as well. If you, I think, tap Y twice or hold Y, you can jump on the top of your car whenever you're driving it. And
push and hold triangle
as well. Yeah, and you can just jump off in a wingsuit if you want as well.
Yep.
Just fun mechanics like that. And you've got co-op as well that you can jump in and play co-op with friends if you want to as well.
Perfect, mate. They're all my thoughts for the first 2 hours of Saints Row. I'm enjoying it and I'm looking forward to getting back into it. Any final thoughts from you, Unkie?
No, mate, I just think if you're sitting on the fence with this game and you want something sort of that's going to tide you over to G.E.A. 6, this may not be that, but what it is just a good time. If you just want to sit back, relax, and not think about too much when you're playing your games, then this is definitely the game for you.
Yeah, I agree, mate. If you're looking for a game that doesn't take itself seriously, check out Saints Row. Bully, any final thoughts from you, my friend?
No, look, I'm just listening to you guys talk and looking at the footage. It does probably interest me a bit more than it did beforehand. So I reckon it might be one to check out. Once maybe they've ironed out all those bugs and thrown a few patches in, it might be worth checking out.
Indeed it does. And if you're concerned about your bandwidth, mate, the Let's installs on the channel. Feel free to go back and check it out. Now, Game 2 this evening is the recently added to Game Pass Midnight Fight Express. Unkie Dunkie, you've been hands-on?
I have been hands-on with the John Wick simulator. It's mate, this is really fun. Like I jumped on it again tonight because I got to a point where I thought I was stuck, but it was just me being, terrible gamer, and I just absolutely destroyed it once I got back in there. I don't know what it was, but I'd beaten the first boss, and I was sort of through to the next little levels, and the sort of difficulty ramped up a little bit, but it was more so just muscle memory and getting back into it and learning the mechanics again. But this is a really good brawler. This is, it's. The best way to probably explain it is maybe Sifu meets Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Well, I think you've absolutely nailed that, mate. Yes, 100%. I agree completely. You're watching my footage here. I think I'm currently up to level 14 of 40, and I would guess maybe I've put 3 hours into it. What are your stats there?
Yeah, I reckon I'm level 11 out of 40, and I've just gone back. So I realised that once you finish the levels, obviously you can go back and play them and not have to worry about all the cutscene stuff that gets in the way. A little, not cutscenes, but like story moments that get in the way of the gameplay. But you can go back and they add challenges to those levels that you can try and compete to give you sort of some replayability. And I didn't realise that until I sort of went back and played the first level again. I was like, complete the level in 180 seconds and kill 15 enemies with weapons and all that stuff. And it was just fun going back and trying to do those levels with, some of the abilities I'd unlocked and all that kind of stuff. So, and some of the abilities you unlock really sort of, create some really good gameplay. Like you start feeling like Batman from Arkham.
Yes.
Some of the flow you can get with the, counters, and you can attack people from further away. You can pick up their weapons. And don't get me started on how cool it feels to pick up a gun and just start popping fools like John Wick. Like it feels so good.
It does indeed, mate. Now, let me ask you this, if because I'm not 100% sure on it, but you said level 11, so are you still within Act 1? Have you seen the Act 2 screen pop yet?
I just finished the boss where you fight some female and you jump.
So you haven't gone beyond that level?
No.
Oh my God, the game is about to take a hard left turn. And I was, this game was sitting at about an 8.5 for me. And then I hit, you're about to see it come up on the screen. It's a hard left turn. The game spits itself sideways and turns into a twin stick shooter for a level. It is the funnest thing ever. My criticism of this game would be they just had too many levels in Act 1 that were samey, because when the game, it turns into a twin stick shooter for a level, and it's just after you defeat that woman. You're about to see her on screen here, I think. And then at the end of that level, mate, you jump off, I think it's an oil rig, and you land on a jet ski. Yeah. So the next level is you on the jet ski, and then it's a twin stick shooter, and there's other blokes on the jet skis, and a helicopter comes in, is the boss fight, like against a helicopter on a jet ski, and you're very much like we were just looking at in Saints Row there, how you're jumping from car to car. You're on the jet skis. The jet skis have bugger all health. I think it's 3 bullets and they explode. So you've got to ride your jet ski up along the next bloke, and then it's A or X, and you jump over and take his jet ski, like to refill the health essentially on your jet ski. So, and all the time the helicopter's dropping missiles on you, so you're, moving, positioning, jumping from jet ski to refill your health, and it just comes out of nowhere, and it just flips the game on its head. And I'm like, what is this? It's suddenly a new game. And then that level ends, and then you're back to as you know it from Act 1, those levels. But there's a whole new set of characters. You're suddenly fighting pirates and stuff, and there's big what are those I'm blanking on the name, but those old the old the rifles that you'd see, like in Pirates of the Caribbean. What are those rifles called? With the big flared out end.
Muskets.
Yeah, muskets. Thank you. So they introduce muskets, and then you've got pirate swords, and they cut people in half. Steve, they're cutting people in half. It gets they just crank the action up to 11 in Act 2. They just need to trim 1 or 2 levels out of the middle of Act 1 to get everyone to the point.
I was going to say, I think Act 1 does a really good job of just getting you used to the mechanics. I think if you threw someone in there and it got too hard, too quick, too early, then you might just bounce. I think it does find a nice balance of sort of teaching you all those mechanics, and only now I've unlocked that second ability where you can pull out the gun holding, I think it's LB for me.
Yep.
To pull up execution moves and stuff like that. And I think if they threw everything at you at the start, it might be a little bit too, all too much too soon. But I don't know. That's my thought, because I think you get enough action at the start, I think, to sort of tide you over. And I don't know. I think it's paced pretty well so far.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I just think 1 or 2 levels out of it just to get you to the left turn quicker, just to the, oh my God, now it's a twin stick shooter. And then, suddenly we're back, and now it feels like I'm doing twice as much damage because my pirate sword's cutting people in half, instantly. The brutalities goes up. Oh, and the little collectibles, I love that the collectibles are gold teeth out of there. You've got to smack them in the face hard enough for their teeth to drop out, and then you run around the level picking up the gold teeth. I think that is a brilliant idea for collectibles. I absolutely love that. That tickled me.
That's true. I've gone nowhere near getting an S rating for any of these levels. It is a difficult game.
Not at all, mate. And here's the fight you were referring to earlier. This is the boss fight at the end of Act 1, that when we finish this, we're jumping off onto the thing. So we're about to see that. But, Bully, we haven't heard from you yet, mate. Have you had a look?
I have. I've probably put an hour or 2 into it. I'll explain a bit later when we get to the back end of some of the games we're talking about, but I've just been in a bit of a lull for the last week or 2, and I reckon I would have tried to punch through 15 or 20 different games and get started in them, and this has been one of them. I've enjoyed the little bit of time with it, but just that lull, nothing's really grabbing me at the moment. So other than that hour or 2, which, as I said, it was enjoyable, but it just sort of wore out on me, and that's not a reflection on the game. It's just where I'm at the moment, and hopefully be out of that soon and back playing.
It's a lot of fun, mate. But that's the point. Like I got fatigued about an hour of gameplay in myself, and I bounced off it, and then forced myself to come back to capture this footage. And it was another hour in or whatever, where it takes a left turn, and from the moment that left turn happened, now I can't wait to get back into it. The fatigue disappeared entirely. And that's the only reason I was saying they should trim up those first couple of levels to get that hook in you quicker. I reckon, because you think you've seen all the game. You're like, okay, I get this game. And then you look at the level counter and you're like, oh, I'm on level, 8 of 40 or whatever. And then levels 6, 7, 8 are all essentially the same gameplay. They're not really introducing anything new. To Unkie's point, you are getting a lot more competent in your skill set. But I think had they have just taken out a little bit of competency for the variety of gameplay, I think a lot more people would be talking about how phenomenal this game is. And Unkie, you're going to know this. I'm just blanking on it. But was this made by one guy? Am I thinking of the right game? Was this the one?
Yeah, it's one guy. I think he's probably got maybe a few people with him. But yeah, it was like a very small group of people, I think, that made this game. So the fact that they've come up with a game that's this quality, I think, they're only going to speak volumes to what they can do in the future.
Oh, 100%. I am absolutely hooked and cannot wait to get back to it. There just then was a quick little bit of footage of the jet ski. I didn't want to spoil it too much, so I didn't put a lot in there. But you've just seen there the twin stick. That's the standard level. What can you get through in maybe 3 minutes if you do it well? So, it's only 3 minutes on a jet ski, but it is a breath of fresh air. And then if you look at the footage here, I'm about to start swinging the old pirate sword and cutting people in half. And it's an absolute joy, this game. If you've got Xbox Game Pass, it's on there. Check it out. It's phenomenal. Look at that. Witcha, cutting him in half. I absolutely love it. Oh, and I just unlocked this as well, the old knuckle dusters. I've got no idea, Steve. Do you know if the cosmetics, are they just cosmetics in this game? Like, I've bought knuckle dusters, but are they going to increase my melee attack skill?
No, I don't think so. I think they're all just cosmetic based. Because I was just going to mention, I did just unlock pretty much a Daredevil outfit, which I can now rock. It's called. I'll write it down. Hang on a second. I'll tell you what it was called. Obviously, for copyright reasons, they changed it.
Sure.
It was called. Where are we? Where's my notes on this bad boy? The Dareman outfit.
Nice.
So I've unlocked that. It looks quite cool though.
Yeah, perfect. So I give it 2 big thumbs up. If you've got Xbox Game Pass, do yourself a favour and check it out. They're my final thoughts. Bully, did you have any final thoughts?
No, that's probably it for me. As I said, limited amount of time, but it was enjoyable. Just didn't hook me at the time.
Yes, I hear that. And Unkie, final thoughts from you, my friend.
Yeah, mate, Game Pass, no reason not to give it a go. I think just get in there, bash some skulls, cut some people in half, have some fun.
Indeed. I think it's level 12 is the dual stick shooter, and then level 13 introduces the pirate sword. So make sure you play it that far in, because you're in for a real treat. Which brings us on to game 3. And oh lordy, does this game speak to me as I hoped it would. It's Rollerdrome. There's a Let's Play on the channel. There's only one. I only did one live Let's Play the other day, and it worked flawlessly the first time. I thought that was quite impressive.
Yeah, well done.
Oh, thanks very much. This game is everything it appears to be. It's Tony Hawk's plus pistols, and I can't get enough of it. It's fluid gameplay. The big tip I've got is, well, if you've been playing Elden Ring, as I'm still toiling away on a little bit of Elden Ring, I platinumed it on PlayStation, but I picked it up on Xbox, and so I'm starting another playthrough on Xbox is where I'm going on that.
You're insane.
Yes, I am. But the point is, if you've been playing some Elden Ring and then you come to this, do yourself a favor and flick the circle and square buttons, or, B and X, I want to say, on Xbox, just to put dodge in the same spot. Once I was struggling a bit the first time, but once I moved the dodge button to match Elden Ring's dodge button, bang, it was game on. I started hitting those scores. There's a trophy for completing a level with just one combo, and not one achievement for completing the level in one combo, a second achievement for completing a level without getting hit. And once I switched the 2 buttons and put dodge in the right spot, the very next level attempt I made, I got both of those achievements or trophies, both the trophies on the next run I had. So this game is fantastic. It is what you see, but Unkie, have you played it?
Mate, I have. I've put through a fair bit. Like, I'm currently stuck on a level. I'm sort of late into the game as well. I think I'm in the final lot of levels. So I fought a couple of bosses and stuff. It is getting insane how many enemies are on screen at once and how many things you have to dodge and move around and weapons you've got to, like, you get out of the way of. Like, there's blue weapons and then there's the rockets. And then you've got, you do unlock some weapons to sort of give yourself the upper hand as well, like the grenade launcher, and you do get like a semi-sniper rifle kind of thing as well. I use the shotgun a fair bit and do that special timing move that you got to do to sort of take guys out. The slug shot, that's the one. So I use that a lot. I did flirt with the idea of changing those controls to the dodge and stuff, but I did get used to the controls they do give you, and I do genuinely try and stick to the game's controls they're trying to give you because I feel like that's the way the developer wants you to play the game, regardless of whether they give you the other options. So I did stick with that, and it did become muscle memory after a while. So even if I did decide to change it, I probably couldn't go back, even though I'm generally used to that sort of Bloodborne-esque or Elden Ring style of dodge and whatever. But this is such a cool game. It is literally Tony Hawk with guns, and like it's got unique things where like if you run out of ammo, that's why you're doing your tricks, because the tricks will actually replenish your ammo. I would like to see. I would prefer it if the ammo wasn't, mutually. I would prefer it to be mutually exclusive to your weapon, as opposed to say you unload, some of your grenade launcher that uses some of your pistol ammo. I'd prefer it if it didn't, so you could switch between weapons and not use all your ammo all the time. But I guess that's part of the whole thing about having to keep your combos going and your tricks going. But that's just one sort of thing I'd like to see changed. I think this game does have quite a few accessibility options as well. From memory, I think you can go in there and go unlimited ammo and all that kind of stuff. So
I hadn't even looked. Pro tip.
Yeah, so if you don't want to, have all the stress of, trying to do tricks and stuff, you can just go in this game and have a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure you can, dial down how much damage the enemies do and all that kind of stuff as well. So a lot of fun to be had. Really cool art style, really cool vibe the game's got going on. I just love the main character. I love the small sort of story bits they do. They take you into a first-person view between levels every now and again, where you sort of explore like a tiny mini area and get story tidbits here and there. Just enough story to keep you going and in throughout the action. But no, very enjoyable game. And I can see this developer again going on to do great things like a Rollerdrome 2 and creating a bigger campaign, etc. I think some of the levels can become a little bit samey after a while, even when you sort of move in those top tier competitions. They can still sort of seem very similar. So I could see them sort of creating more biomes or even just some DLC for this game. But no, really good game.
I've got a pitch for you, Steve. Tell me how this sits with you. I believe that this is is it Unit 7 or Unit 17? Who are the developers of this one?
Oh, I don't know. Let's Bully can fact check us.
I think I'm going to say...
I'll fact check, yeah.
Fact check away. For now, I'll say Unit 7. Here's my pitch to you. Somebody needs to get hold of either Stephen King's Running Man or... I'm blanking on the author, but the Hunger Games. They're both essentially the same premise, which is the premise of this game, It's future, there's chaos, so we put people in the ring to fight to death. To your earlier point, Steve, there's very minimal story in it so far, but you can't tell me this wouldn't be the ultimate game if they either made it Hunger Games tie-in or, as I said, Stephen King's Running Man tie-in. Like, those are fantastic narratives that they've built, movies on, and there's books on and everything. And there is so much good story around this concept that just isn't here yet in this game. But my God, I want a sequel. I want them paired up with one of those, fantastically detailed worlds. And that would be a match made in heaven. That's the only way they could improve this game. And that is in no way a knock on the gameplay. They have absolutely nailed the minute-to-minute gameplay, and you know me, I'm a gameplay first kind of guy. I couldn't be more impressed by this game. Woo! I'm loving it. Bully, how about you, mate? Your thoughts?
Roll7's the developer as well.
Cheers, thanks.
No, I have not touched it. To be fair, I hear what you guys are saying. I just don't think it's for me. I was never a Tony Hawk fan or any of those type of games. The combos and the tricks and that sort of thing never really interested me in those games.
Fair enough.
And I'm just sort of looking at it. I take on board what you guys are saying, that it's enjoyable when you're playing it, but just looking at it and watching the vision roll, I I can't see myself playing it for more than about half an hour without getting bored with it.
Oh my god, mate! I'm sitting here watching my own footage back, and I've got my bloody synapses firing, and I'm getting all excited as though I'm playing it right now, mate. I can't even watch this footage without getting toey and wanting to grab a controller. Woo!
No,
This game lights me up.
I think it'll be. I think it might be one because it's not on Game Pass, is it? I haven't
Correct.
checked out what the
It's
release
only, I thought
price.
it's only PlayStation, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's Sony only.
I haven't even looked, mate. I honestly have no idea.
No, I'm pretty sure it's PlayStation exclusive. Because I remember it was at one of their showcases when they first revealed it. And I'm pretty sure it's only Sony. So,
do we know if
Well, I
it's
might,
limited time exclusive?
probably. That being said, Deathloop was apparently limited time exclusive. That's still on an Xbox, so who knows?
Well, they're just doing Xbox game as a favour there. Oh!
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Death Nag Loop, I believe, is the full title of that game.
That's it's the subtitle.
It's PC and PS5 only at this stage. I think. Look, I'm a physical collector. I think it's only digital at the moment. So maybe if they release a physical version, so I can stick the case up on my shelf and
pretty looking case because I reckon that
and look at it adoringly.
The digital artwork they got for the game, like a physical copy, would look quite cool.
Here's what I want, Steve: physical edition, collector's edition, and it's the actual helmet, and it's life size. The disc's inside the helmet. 2 red slots is where you pull the disc out of. Woo!
That'd be nice. Not going to happen, but it'd be nice.
Oh my goodness! Oh, quick, Steve, vamp! It's all you, mate. For 2 seconds, go.
It's all me. Oh, mate, this I don't bully you. You're not going to pick this up. I can't remember the price, but I think it was $29.95. Was it more?
I will try and find out for you. But
Picture this. Picture this, but that Rollerdrome helmet is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. That's a good helmet.
Worth the money. You're not suggesting there's inflation afoot, are you, sir?
Oh, I think there's some cash grabs going on. I'm looking at you, Sony. $30 for Rollerdrome.
$30.
Yeah.
That's $30 well spent. I love it, fellas. It sounds like we're done with that one. So let's get all culty, shall we? Break out the white robes. Here we are with Cult of Lamb, or more specifically, here's Unkie Dunkie with Cult of Lamb. What's going on here, mate?
The initial cultists that I had, I think it was 6 of them, were at the feast, which was unfortunate because a lot of spreading your little what do I do now? So they're all dead. So you've got to remove them from the world and put little grave types and stuff.
Oh my God, Steve! You've struck me with a question. Do we know? I'm relatively confident this is Victorian developers. Yeah, made this. I believe it's Victorian developers. Now you're saying there's, imprisonment without jury, you're re-educating people, you're locking them up, there's disease, it's all going pear-shaped. Are you sure this game isn't called Cult of Dan? Well, very good. Sorry, Fully, any thoughts? What are you trying to say? I'm not sure. Steve, you've got to play it to the end now just to tell us how it finishes and what's the fate of poor Dan.
Mate, the lockdown ends, I'll tell you that.
But only after much bloodshed.
That's right.
No, looking at it, the graphical art style looks fantastic. And as you said, if it runs at that 60 frame, as you said, Steve, it'll be fantastic. And from what I've read of all the reviews, really positive. And I suppose the other thing is just to say it's good to see a local Australian developer, which we haven't really had since sort of Bondi went defunct a number of years ago. We haven't really had any sort of major success in the game development front.
SMG Studios, Sydney-based, and they do Moving Out. That was well received, I believe, a couple of years back.
It was, yeah.
Well, there you go. So it's good to see another one that's getting some good attention and obviously put out a pretty good product. So I think it'll be on the list to check out, but just haven't got there yet.
Very good. I love it. No more thoughts from me. Unkie Dunkie, did you have any final points for this one, mate?
My only final thought is that I think this game is ripe to come out in Game Pass eventually, so maybe hold off if you haven't purchased it already and you didn't have any sort of vested interest in it by now, then maybe just hold off, because I think you'll see this come to Game Pass pretty soon and then it'll be well worth the price of admission.
Very good. I love it. That must mean we are on to game number 5, Xenoblade Chronicles. As far as I know, it's only available on Switch, so I guess you're playing it there, Steve.
That is exactly where I'm playing it, and for a Switch game, this is a very good-looking game. It does only run at 30 frames per second, obviously, as most Switch games do, but it's quite a solid, smooth 30 frames, considering what they're giving you on screen at any given time. But, mate, this game is Game Mechanics, the video game. It just... you start, and it's quite simple, and then you think, okay, I've got my handle on this mechanic, and then it throws another one at you, and then you think you've got your hand, okay, cool, this is the game, and then it throws another one at you. And I reckon that happened to maybe 10 times now, and I still think I've got more mechanics getting thrown at me. But I still have to go back through and look at my tips and just sort of remember what I've actually learned, because it throws so much at you. It is such a good game. I can see why it's getting the reviews it's getting, because even from the very start of this game, the story is really well done. The cutscenes are beautiful.
Sorry, just on that point, mate. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, my question is from the story you were just mentioning. Is this a direct follow-on from number 2, or how does it fit into the Xenoblade Chronicles universe?
I think they're all linked. You don't necessarily have to have played 1 or 2 to sort of get this one, but this one is based on the side of, I think normally who you're playing as are the enemies of your characters in the previous games. Mm-hmm. That is my understanding. So you're playing from that different side and all that. And there's a whole thing going on with a whole bunch of different, groups of people, and the main characters you're playing as are from 2 different groups. At the start of the game, you're playing as just this one, and then, you start out as enemies, maybe you become friends, and you sort of, go in towards the greater goal of, trying to bring everyone else together and all that. But it's a really interesting story. Like, you'll see your characters, they have like at the start of the game, there's this whole thing where they only live for 10 years, and their whole sort of, reason to live is to fight, and that's all they've ever known. That's all they ever do. They get to their 10 years, and then essentially they die. So very early on in the game, you destroy this thing that sort of is the thing that keeps you alive for those 10 years, and all of a sudden the world is your oyster, essentially, and then you're trying to sort of relieve all these other groups of people of that ability to sort of only be alive 10 years. So that's sort of where I'm at with the story. But I had this epic boss fight, which culminated in like all our groups joining together to fight the main bad guy, who we thought the main bad guy was. Like it was so epic and so like final that even like I was playing the game with my wife watching. She thought that was the end of the game, that I'd finished it, because it was so climatic in the way it actually ended, and that was just the beginning of the game, or the ending crescendo of the start of the game, and it's got so much more to go.
Wow.
And so much story to tell. It sort of jumps timelines where you're playing as when they were kids and starting out as a group, and then jumping back forward as well, and just the cutscenes is just beautifully done. Like the music is incredible in this game as well. For the graphics that it's got on a Switch, like some of the vistas and some of the areas that you're in are just like gigantic and huge and epic, and it's even sort of puts Breath of the Wild to shame when it comes to some of its vistas that it's got. It's just everything's different. The biomes you're going to all different, all look really unique. There's like monsters roaming the world, kind of like your Monster Hunter sort of out in the world. There's monsters everywhere. You can choose to sort of look past them if you want, or you can go up special boss enemies and stuff in the world to sort of unlock different, to get different sort of like items and stuff off them as well, which helps you sort of upgrade your character and all that kind of stuff as well. There's just so many mechanics in this game. Like it would take me the next 45 minutes just to explain how many mechanics I've got in the first sort of half hour of gameplay. But I'm probably maybe 10 hours in now, and I know the game's maybe 100 hours long. So the amount of story and stuff and exposition that I've already got in this game would sort of generally surface a normal campaign in a game, but and it's got so much more to go. So I know Bully's been playing a bit of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, so I'm not sure whether he can speak to this at all. But
if I can ask one question before I hand it over to Bully, I'm seeing a lot of flute action in these two trailers I clipped up today here, mate. Is the flute a key element of the gameplay, or is it just something they lent on for the trailers?
Yeah, so your main character, he is called what's called Mafia, so he goes into battle and plays the flute, plays off with their body, so they essentially get sent off properly. So that's his role, and there's like another female in the other main crew that she's also an officer as well. So that's their group. So you'll find dead bodies in the field that you've got to go play them off essentially, and that'll give you extra sort of items when you throughout the game as well. So I'm assuming it's going to come to a head at some point, and they'll explain more about that. But that's what the flute playing is all about: is there these offseas that they'll see off the dead bodies within the battle.
Perfect, thank you, mate. Now, Bully, it does look a bit weebish, so I got to ask, what's your feeling on it?
Well, I do love a good flouter, so I will say that. Look, I was late to the party on the Xenoblade Chronicles. I'd heard good things about them for a long time. I've got number 3 sitting on the shelf. I've gone and got number 1, and I've started off there. So I'll put about 10 to 12 hours into that one. I think each of the games they're all about that 100 hours long, as Unkie said. So there is probably I'll get to 3 at some point in the next 6 years. But the look and the look of it, it's just an improvement on the previous Xenoblade. Well, from what I've played of the previous Xenoblade, or the original one, the visual style is just an expansion of that. As Unkie said, the vistas and stuff, they look good in the first one. And looking at the video and the footage of number 3, it's just an expansion of all that. So if you've enjoyed the first one or the second one, I'd 100% say get into it, because it's just bigger, better, and more of what you've loved previously.
Perfect. I love it. No other points from me. Unkie, any final thoughts on the old Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on Switch?
No, I just wanted to mention it's pretty early on the game, so it's not really considered a spoiler, but the whole premise is that you have this ability to sort of merge with your characters eventually, and it's called what's called Ouroboros, and you create essentially what's like a giant Power Rangers type futuristic machine where like two will come together and they just create this like giant thing, and you can do that during battles and stuff, and become this sort of giant machine thing and fight things with like even greater ability. It's just epic. Some of the stuff you do with this game, and it's just constantly surprised me. My only gripe is that I would love to see a game like this on one of the PS5s or Series X running at 60 frames per second with 4K graphics, because that's the only thing I can knock it for. Even though its art style is really nice, it's got that Breath of the Wild sort of cartoony style to it. I would just love to see something like this sort of shine on one of the other consoles, which unfortunately, it's been eluding us up until this day. It's I don't know what we have to do to get this off the Nintendo, or give us a new Nintendo that does 4K, but yeah, I'd love to see one of these games doing singing on all levels.
Yeah, mate. By the time Bully gets around to playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, he might be able to play it in his Switch 2, and that might have some very nice 4K upscaling, maybe.
Maybe.
All right, that's got to bring us on to Game 6. This is all me. Well, it's all Aloy, I believe her name is. Horizon Forbidden West. I have finished the main story campaign. I believe I am 6 trophies from the Platinum. I've just got a little bit of mopping up to do. I've already got the missable one, so it's definitely a clear run from here to the Platinum. I expect maybe 2 more hours, and I'll have wrapped up the Platinum on this. But this is the very game I was referring to earlier. When we were referring to Saints Row and games that take themselves way too seriously. I have to play this game with podcast on or something. I cannot listen to another person complaining to me. My God, whoever wrote this script is morbid and boring, and I have no time for any of the dialogue in this game. It's all just people complaining, and I like to use video games as an escape from people complaining. I don't want to indulge myself in people complaining. That's my only knock on the game, though. The gameplay itself is phenomenal. You'll see here a nice little platforming challenge that I failed multiple times, even though I'm almost 50 hours into the game. I still haven't worked out the platforming side of it. But when you get to the end, once you've unlocked all the abilities, there is a lot of moment-to-moment game playing here. Taking down those dinosaurs is fun. Flying around on your mount at the end is fun. They tease you with it the whole game. And then I think, the second to last main story mission is when you finally unlock the flying mount. When you do, the game opens right up, and that's the time to go mop up those trophies, which is where I'm at. As I said, I expect I'll only put 2 more hours into the game, and then I'll be done with it. As I said, my tip, turn it off. I don't need to hear people complaining. That's just not fun for me. But Unkie Dunkie, you finished it, and I'm sure you could praise the script in some ways that I certainly couldn't. So, mate, over to you.
Well, I actually haven't finished. I have been jumping back into it every now and again just to sort of get myself to that point of finishing. But every time I jump back in there, I'm not in that mood. Like, I remember when I first started playing, I was just all in, and then Elden Ring came out and just sort of did that thing that Breath of the Wild did to the first Horizon for me. And I still can't bring it. I know there will be a time where I'll get back and I'll get hooked enough to finish it. I have unlocked the flying mount, so I'm not far off.
Yeah, you're right at the end.
I'm just more like inverted commas impressed with some of the platforming. I've just enjoy it. I don't even think a 4-year-old could stuff like that. There you go. You've proven me wrong.
What can I say? There's way too many people complaining at me, and it just throws me off my platforming. Well, that's the excuse I'm going with. But yes, I say good game, 2 big thumbs up, but it is nowhere near Game of the Year. Elden Ring still leagues above it. If you've got to choose between Elden Ring and this, stick with Elden Ring. Bully, have you gone hands-on? What's your history with Horizon Forbidden West, mate?
I'm pretty sure Bully's platinumed this, hasn't he?
I have platinumed. Oh, yes, I have platinumed.
Oh, please, come into defense of the script. Please, somebody has to balance out my harsh comments.
I loved it. It's a bleak world. You've got to sort of take it for what it is. It's a really dour, bleak world where you've got tribes fighting against each other. You've got these monsters fighting against each other. And if you sort of lean into that sort of world building, then you understand where the complaining's coming from.
I don't care where the complaining's coming from. Games, escapism. Like, how about this? The Last of Us, a dark as world as possible. But they didn't have to complain at me for, 25-ish hours? I can't remember how long the first Last of Us was now. But do you know what I mean? It was a dark world, but they didn't have to complain about it.
I will say some of the side missions as you're getting towards the end become a bit tiresome. But the main story arc is, in my opinion, probably one of the best stories in a game this year. Once you work through the little twists, the little turns, and then you get to the end of it. I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't played it, but
Fair enough.
I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the whole time I spent with it. I will say the only thing I did do, I think, as I got down to the last sort of 2 or 3 trophies before hitting the platinum, was when you needed to collect certain components to build particular weapons. I think that was one of the end trophies I was after. I ended up turning the difficulty right down because I was fighting the same beasts for an hour or 2 at a time to get one part.
Mm-hmm.
That you may or may not get when you beat them. So you have to go back. You have to reload an area, go back to it, hope you get it, and if you don't, it's reload and go back to it. And I was just getting a bit tiresome, so I dropped it right down, mopped up those trophies pretty quickly. So if that's sort of where you're at, I'd suggest doing that if you want to finish it off.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. I am right there with you. And you're about to see here, if I can prattle on for 2 seconds, this is me this afternoon popping the level 50 silver trophy, which was a thing of beauty. Oh, but look at this here. Here's a prime example. You go from something like Rollerdrome, which is like precision movement, and here I'm on my mount. I'm just trying to cross the bridge, and the bloody things just ran into one handrail, then one into the other handrail. They need to really have a good hard look at themselves and how they've got those mounts handling. I think they could spend a lot more time. These are robots. I don't know if you've seen a Tesla take a corner, but in my experience, those robots could be a lot more precise in their movements than they are. They're way too loose, in my opinion.
To be fair, we've just watched some pretty ordinary platforms, so I'm not sure.
Could be user error, is that what you're saying?
Well, you take it as you see fit. But you judged on that last platforming section.
I freely admit I'm a terrible platformer. However, I will defend myself to the end when it comes to movement in the world on a mount or on rollerblades, as we were just discussing with Rollerdrome. If your moment-to-moment gameplay works, I can get into that flow state and just fly. But when it's, I'm hitting one, I'm hitting something else, I'm hitting something else. The only way they could make it better, give me a partner that just wants to complain at me the whole time. Anyway, sorry, that's enough of me whinging. That's me popping level 50 in the silver trophy. Thank you very much. So I've got no final thoughts other than next week you'll probably see me bragging about a platinum. Unkie, do you think you'll be picking it back up in the next week, or is it somewhat lower on your backlog?
No, it's low on the backlog at the moment. We've got new releases popping as well this week that I think I'll be spending my time on for next G.E.A. and I'll probably continue to try and get Saints Row done, and there's a game coming out tonight as well that I think I'll be spending some time on as well.
Very good, mate. I love it. All right, that can only mean it is time for the overtime. Who has been getting the extra time in, and what have you been playing, Unkie? Let's start with you for a change.
Well, it's been 4 weeks, so I've had a fair bit on. I decided to give Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker a go because I was missing Metal Gear Solid, which
on which, sorry,
later discussions. On the Xbox.
Very good.
So they did so it runs at 60 frames, I think at 4K as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sort of kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 Lite is how I like to see it. It's a lot of the mechanics that 5 brought in with its filtering of enemies and stuff came into that. But it's not sort of smaller base. It obviously was a portable game on the Vita and that back in the day, so you can see sort of where it's got its legs and the sort of console. Playing it without multiplayer and stuff as well, with some levels can be quite difficult. But no, it's been quite enjoyable getting back to the Metal Gear Solid experience and just sort of getting back into that. If you have any questions, I'll move on to the next one.
None from me, Bully.
Okay.
Smashed out the original Watch Dogs as well. I wanted some open world gaming stuff. This is before obviously Saints Row. I remember doing Watch Dogs, so I jumped back into that. That's got some of the most satisfying
drinking games. Oh,
no, I remember back in the day. It's so satisfying to shoot
it's still true. It's got some really good slow motion stuff as well. You can click down. It's very Max Payne in its gameplay. So if you want something that's like Max Payne and a third-person shooter, but it's set in an open world, then give that gritty Watch Dogs a go because it's still one of the better Watch Dogs. I think a lot of people hated on it back in the day because it never reached the peaks of those E3 demos that they showed. But
boo to those people. Yeah, I've got the platinum. I've got the platinum in Watch Dogs, and I'd have to double check, but I'm relatively confident I've also got the 1,000 gamer score on Xbox for Watch Dogs. I'm pretty sure I've 100% on both platforms. That's how much I love it. So 2 big thumbs up from me on Watch Dogs.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. It's just the grittiness of it. Like, you
Yeah.
feel like you're kind of like Batman with a gun, essentially. And the
Yep.
mechanics haven't really come to a point where they're too extreme and you can override everything. It's just, I don't know, there's a good balance for me. I'm
Yeah.
quite enjoying that. And speaking of games we've spoken about before, the Saints Row player, I booted back up Mad Max, which, what a game. Like, this
Yes.
game now runs at 60 frames with the Xbox backwards compatibility and has HDR enabled as well. And so it's such a beautiful looking game as well, especially running at 60. And I remember this game literally came out, I think it was the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5. So that's the reason it never got the time for me back in the day, because I was well and truly stuck in Metal Gear Solid 5 like most people.
Completely understandable.
But just the driving in games for me usually is not the sort of standout part. But in Mad Max, like, that car just sounds amazing, and the car combat's incredible, and the fisticuff stuff is like sort of Batman Arkham, but slightly slower but more brutal, and like, it's just really enjoyable. It's got a really nice look. Like, it's a sort of Ubisoft kind of open world. Go here, collect this, upgrade this, but it's got a lot of really cool collectibles that do upgrade Max really well and his car really well, and I'm really enjoying the story as well. So I can see myself going back and actually finishing this game now. So that's been really enjoyable, and I've just done back into Back for Blood this morning as well. Finished off I think it was the 3rd campaign on the legendary difficulty and got an achievement for that. So
nice.
That was nice, and that's in anticipation of the expansion, which technically releases today, but in Australia, I think we launch at 3 a.m. tomorrow.
Yes. Correct.
For the new campaign. So I'm really looking forward to jumping back in just to play that new campaign with new enemies, new guns, and etc. Because that game was lighting me up earlier this year, and it's still sort of probably maybe even in my top 5 games of this year. Even though I know it didn't come out this year, but top 5 experiences of video gaming this year, that's probably still up there. So really looking forward to the expansion for that. And just played a bit this morning and made me realise how much I enjoyed that game.
I love it, mate. Here's a question: when we're end of the year, game of the year times, do we do best patched experience of the year? Like, bring Back for Blood in as a contender because all the patches were applied this year, and now's the time to play it. Just a random thought on Back for Blood there.
I think so. There could be a few in there. I mean, I know Sifu did actually come out this year as well, but Sifu's actually got a big expansion coming out, I think, tomorrow as well, which has got like a god mode. It's got like a god mode added to it. It's got a low gravity mode added to it, and a whole bunch of other stuff as well.
The developers based that god mode on your footage of playing it, didn't they?
Yeah, they were like, we need to make this game easier because this guy sucks, essentially. Probably.
Back for Blood, 3 a.m, new campaigns released. Steve, what do you say tomorrow? Do you want to do a Let's Play on the channel of the new Back for Blood content? Could I tempt you?
You could tempt me. I've got a bit of cleaning to do. I've got a house inspection tomorrow, but we'll definitely see how we go.
All right, pencil that one in. All right, then, I guess it's time for my overtime. Just a couple of quick ones. The first one, Townscaper. On your Xbox Cloud Gaming, assuming you've got access to Xbox Cloud Gaming, I say fire up Townscaper, spend maybe 2 minutes tapping the screen, and you'll rack up maybe 800 gamer score. That's my tip on that one. My second one, also in the land of Xbox, and I've got an accompanying graphic here. Check out the current sale on the Splinter Cell franchise on the Xbox store, would you? Have a look at that, boys. You can pick up the original 3 Splinter Cells. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, and Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Xbox original releases here. We're talking backwards compatibility to the max. Unfortunately, it doesn't have, the HDR or 60 frames a second type features, so there's none of that goodness, but the games are there and playable. The single player, the multiplayer on all of them, unfortunately, is not what you want, but the single player is there, and I fired it up briefly. I checked out the opening cutscenes on the first 2 games. I'm yet to fire up the old Chaos Theory, but I can tell you that the opener to Splinter Cell 1, it's dated now, obviously, so the character models are a little janky. They're, they look their age. However, the script writing and the music accompaniment is fantastic. And I got to say, maybe you're the writers, the authors, if you will, of Horizon Forbidden West need to go back, play Splinter Cell from almost 20 years ago at this point, and see how do you do gripping, compelling story where no one complains and we get into the action thick and fast. That's right, Splinter Cell. You can pick up the whole trilogy for what? $22.14. That's Australian dollars, mind you. $22.14 Australian. You can get the original 3. That's my big pro tip to everyone out there. Unkie, Bully, any chance you guys are going to part with $22.14 and grab hold of this made-up trilogy?
No, I've got those $22 need to go towards Last of Us Part 1.
Oh, God, that'll be an installment plan. How about you, Bully? Any interest in the original 3 Splinter Cells on Xbox for $22.14?
I did, and I've had a look. I don't think the 22.14 will do me because I've had a look on eBay today, and I reckon I can get them all physical copied for about 25 to 30. So I reckon that's what I'll be getting.
Nice work, mate, and fair call for those physical collectors out there. I love it. Now, this brings us on to my third and final bit of overtime for the evening. It's Destiny 2. Now, guys, you need to go for a walk with me, but you need to do it real quick. You need to jump on the Epic Games Store, log into your account, and redeem that there. Now, I've got to jump up to grab the name because I didn't write it down. The Destiny 2 Bungie 30th Anniversary DLC pack is currently free on the Epic Games Store, but it's only free for about another 12 more hours, I think. So fastest fingers first. But jump on the PC, assuming you've already linked for the cross-play, cross-progression, all that hoopla. You get it for free on the Epic Games Store on PC, but then you play it on PlayStation or Xbox, and you've got access to all that content at no cost. You're saving yourself about $40, I think. So that's my pro tip there. Are you guys going to jump on and take care of that offer?
I reckon I've already got the 30th anniversary stuff. I feel like I've already done most of the missions for it. I actually did jump into Destiny 2 just today because I know there's a whole new season coming with the light something or other.
Yep.
I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what it is, but I played the opening mission for that, and then I jumped back in and finished, I think, the second last mission for the most recent expansion as well, going solo. And I was really pushing my time because I thought, I'll just jump here and finish this mission. And it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, I need to pick up my son from school, so let's have this mission soon. So I managed to finish it with about 3 minutes to spare. But, Destiny, what a game. Just you jump back in there, it's just the addictive shooting and first-person shooting is just flawless. Yeah, can't expect more highly Destiny 2, and I'll probably be putting more time into it soon.
Yes, well, for me, I've got to get Saints Row and a few of the other single players out of the way first. But I agree to you, mate. The next time there's a little lull in my gaming catalogue, I will be in to the new season of Destiny 2. Bully, any interest from you there on the Destiny 2?
None whatsoever.
Very good. In that case, that's the end of my overtime, and I hand it over to you, Bully. Have you had any? And if so, what have you been playing?
Oh, only a little bit. So I've Multiverses, which has had its actual full release now on all the consoles. Really enjoying it. It's just a bit of a jump in, have a couple of games each day and jump out. I can't say I'm overly good at it, but it's enjoyable. Mm-hmm. So I think it's free to play now, and it's just got the Fortnite-style season pass or battle pass, whatever you want to call it, with the unlockables and stuff like that. You play through, you earn yourself coins by playing and doing different things, which then you can use those coins to unlock other characters and stuff like that. So there's a bit of progression with it outside that battle pass as well, but just enjoying jumping into that. And the other one, which is, as I mentioned before, has sort of led me to my gaming lull, is the Quarry. And I know it came out a couple of months ago, but I'm up to, I think I was saying before, I'm up to play through sort of 3.5 at the moment. I've played it blind to start with, fared too well with the character surviving. So I went back, used a guide, did another playthrough with everyone surviving. I thought, okay,
how challenging was that?
Sorry, what was that?
Was that particularly difficult to get everyone over the finish line?
No, you've just got to make sort of certain choices, and as long as you make those choices, it's not overly difficult. The quick time stuff in the game itself isn't overly difficult to sort of work through.
You didn't wobble your leg at the end and lose your favourite character like somebody else on the team?
That was until
I was lucky to have anyone survive by the end of it.
Sorry, Bully.
Yeah, so then I basically went through to the third playthrough and sort of got halfway through that with the one where everyone dies. And without spoiling it, but there's a particular part that, again, following a guide, follow it up to the end of the chapter. So you put another half hour, 40 minutes into it, get to the end of the chapter. You got to do one particular thing to have one of the characters died. It didn't work.
Was it a platforming challenge? Because I could help you out.
Well, no. So maybe you can help me out. I don't know. But I pretty much put the controller down in frustration and just thought, I'm done. I've played through this 3.5 times. I'm probably only got another 5 or 6 hours to get the platinum, and I just can't do it at the moment. And that just led me into a week and a half of nothing's gripping me. I can't play anything. I just need to. Yeah. So that's sort of. I enjoyed the time I spent with it, and then it killed me in the end, and it's knocked me off gaming for a week and a half. So take that.
My goodness.
Hey, Bully, have you checked out? They released the trailer for their new supermassive game, The Devil in Me. Have you checked that out now?
No, I haven't seen the trailer for it yet. No.
Oh, it looks good. I can't wait for it. Like it's kind of Saw-like almost in sort of what it looks like, but yeah, it's looking really cool from what I've seen. So it's one of the new Dark Anthology games. I think it's got a release date of either late October, November or something. But check out the trailer, mate, because with all the Quarry you've played, I think you'll enjoy what you see with the new Devil in Me.
Well, it's funny because I've played through the other three in the previous ones of those and have really enjoyed them. So, but having said that, they're a bit shorter and a bit tighter. So maybe there's that's a sort of bit of a plus. But having said that, playing through the Quarry blind and going through the story, really enjoyed it. The little twists and turns and trying to work out, if I do this, I reckon this person will survive, and then finding out 2 chapters later that what you did is actually stuffed you up and you've killed 3 people.
Yep. It's as I said, Quarry is still probably in my top 5 this year as well, just from the experience I had playing it with the missus, but just such a great game in terms of its story and the way it delivers it and the different, ways it can go, as you said. Like you can make decisions that you think are fine, and then like later on you find not so fine.
And that's been my overtime.
Fantastic. Well, in that case, Unkie Dunkie, you need to break out those newly researched breach and clearing methods as we head over to the newsroom. You have the right to remain newsworthy. Leading us off this evening, the biggest bit of news that during our hiatus was, of course, Gamescom 2022. Bully, Unkie Dunkie, did you watch it as well as I did? Did you enjoy yourselves?
Mate, normally I'm all over these things and like seeing them live, but I was quite busy last 2 weeks doing a course, so I completely forgot that this was on, and then had the nice realization of coming home and being like, oh, it did come. So I saw a lot of the news sort of filter through during the day without actually watching it live like I normally would, but I was pleasantly surprised with some of the stuff that we saw. Like, it wasn't the best or biggest show, but a lot of the stuff that was shown there, like, I'm quite interested in. So I know we've got a list of stuff here, but we can go through that in a sec. But Bully, did you check out Gamescom 2022 opening night?
I did. I was probably the same. I enjoyed it. There wasn't anything that sort of blew me out of the water, but from what I did see, there's probably, I reckon, at least, I think there was 30 games revealed on the opening night, and out of those, 10 sort of either had previously sort of piqued my interest or sort of renewed my interest after seeing it on the opening night. And then there was probably another handful that maybe you might want to see more of down the track, and then another handful that you could probably take it or leave it.
Yeah, that's true. And I will start with the end at this point. I think Dead Island 2, I thought this game was dead. I never thought we'd see this game come back. And I'm a massive Dead Island fan, and I think where Dying Light sort of it's a good game from the start of this year. It's crazy to think that game actually came out this year, because it feels like it came out definitely last year. But they removed firearms and stuff from that game. I mean, it all went melee. What I like about the Dead Island 2 trailer is that we do see firearms, and I think that's sort of part of the enjoyment I have when I'm killing zombies. I do like that the pop of the head when I'm shooting firearms at a zombie. So that's what this definitely does, and it's got a lot of visceral melee combat as well, where you put your fist through their face. And I think at Gamescom they actually showed a blurred version or a censored version of the actual trailer. So I've gone back and watched that trailer, and that game's going to be absolutely brutal. So I don't think it quite met the one next thing or one more thing thing that most of these events have. But I'm pleasantly surprised with that game sort of being announced, considering I thought it was dead, and I'm all for some zombie killing fun. But that was a good way to end the show. What do you think?
I thought the Dead Island 2 just looked like a pale wannabe copy of Dying Light 2. I had so much fun with Dying Light 2 at the start of this year, and a key component of that was the moment-to-moment gameplay of the parkour system. And seeing Dead Island 2 and they didn't show a lot of gameplay, if any. I'm not sure they showed any actual gameplay, but I saw nothing and heard nothing about any sort of parkour system. So to me, it looked like quite the inferior copy. That was my take on it. What was yours, Bully?
No, so I was the opposite. I really enjoyed Dead Island 1, and when that originally came out, and I sort of see it the other way, that Dying Light's a bit of a knockoff of that sort of stuff with the parkour added. I haven't put any time into Dying Light 2. I put a fair bit of time into the first one. And if you're comparing Dead Island 1 to Dying Light 1, I'd take Dead Island 1 over Dying Light. I just like the settings, and it's a bit more light-hearted than what you're getting out of Dying Light, which is fairly serious side of things, where it's just a bit more light-hearted and a bit more fun. I guess you could call it the Saints Row of the zombie killing franchise.
Nice.
I reckon that's a good way to put it as well. And I think they did have there was a cinematic trailer I think they released, and they did do separately a gameplay trailer after it. So, Troy, I'm not sure if you've seen the cinematic stuff, but they did release a gameplay trailer after that. So maybe check that out, because I think you maybe turned around with some of the stuff they showed.
Fair call, mate. Fair call. What was next on the agenda?
What else do we see? I'm just going to pick things that I enjoyed watching. Callisto Protocol showed some more gameplay where they had some of the mutations. Now they showed that some of these zombie creatures that actually, if you don't kill them in time, they'll grow tentacles, then mutate, and then come back at you. And that was just insane. And they showed some cool slide things where you're sliding down a water slide type thing, I want to call it, with some fans. Then he gets brutally murdered. So it sort of upped the murderous stakes at stake, when kind of like our Tomb Raider did back in the day. It just showed different ways to kill her. But certainly Josh Duhamel, I'm pretty sure, is the main character. Shows him getting pretty brutally murdered a lot of times. But I cannot wait for this game. This is my number one anticipated game for the rest of the year. It's been my number one anticipated for quite some time now, and I just cannot wait to play this game. I love Dead Space. It's the same developer, and it looks like they're just sort of ramping it up to 11. And every time they show this game, it just gets me more excited.
I'm right there with you, mate. I am two big excited thumbs up for the release of the Callisto Protocol. Bully, did it speak to you?
More of the same. I think it's just one of those things. I think we've seen, well, from my point of view, I think I've seen enough of it to be to have enough interest that I'll go out and get it probably close enough to day one. But I'm almost at the point now where I sort of go, I've seen enough that it interests me. I don't really want to see any more of it.
Yep.
And just want to experience it when it does come out. So, to be honest, that was one of the ones in that bracket that I sort of saw that come up. Thought, yep, I don't need to see that, and skip through the gameplay of it.
Perfect. All right, Unkie Dunkie, what's next on the agenda?
What else do we have? The ones that sort of piqued my interest, we had Gotham Knights showed some more gameplay that actually made that game look more enjoyable than I think the stuff we've seen recently. I don't need to go into too much detail, but what they've showed finally actually had someone who knew how to play the game. Man, it actually made it look good. So I'm actually excited for that. And I think the story they're going to have in this Gotham Knights is actually quite good. So, I'm quietly excited for this game. I hope it's good. I hope the story's good. I hope they managed to blend the mixture of using different characters and the multiplayer stuff better than Avengers did.
Wouldn't be hard.
Which I think they will. I mean, the campaign was really enjoyable. It's just all the stuff afterwards that they, did that wasn't. So I'm hoping this is good. And I'm a massive Arkham Batman game fan.
Yeah.
So I'm all for more in this franchise. We also had Where Winds Meet, which looks really cool. That was one that sort of I hadn't really heard much about. It kind of looked like Sekiro meets Ghost of Tsushima in China. It's third-person action-adventure game. It was just really cool. I'm not sure if any of you guys checked out the trailer or gameplay for that.
No, I just saw what was in the Gamescom opening night, and it didn't light me up in any way. How about you, Billy?
No, it's sort of the same. I reckon there's probably a couple of little bits that maybe piqued a little bit of interest, but I probably need to see more than what we saw at Gamescom just to see a bit more about it and what the actual gameplay is.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Then we had Lies of P, which was very Bloodborne-esque, which I think that was the one that, lit a lot of people up because it did look very much like Bloodborne. And given the fact we're not getting any rumours or any inkling that we're getting a remake or remaster of Bloodborne, I think Lies of P will sort of hopefully quench that thirst for a lot of people. And I was very impressed with this gameplay stuff. Did you guys check out Lies of P?
Yes, mate. It looked good. It went to the top of my list. Post-show, this was the number one for me. Well, actually, truth be told, Callisto Protocol and then Lies of P. Yeah, mate, this looks definitely like something I want to be checking out day one if possible.
Bully, yeah, I'm the same. I would have put it above Callisto Protocol if there was any game on the opening night that was showing. This is well and true. I hadn't seen anything prior to it, and this is well and truly piqued my interest in the retelling of the Pinocchio story in a sort of darker light. Reminds me of American McGee's Alice, which was a retelling of the Alice in Wonderland. Probably, I think that's about a 15-year-old game now. But really enjoyed the dark storytelling and the environment and the way that game played out. And this just is hitting all those notes for me, that it's just a different way of telling a story that we all know, with different characters, and the gameplay that goes with it, as you said, very Dark Souls-esque. And if they can combine those two, I know with the Soulsborne type games, we don't get a lot of in-your-face story. It's a lot of reading notes and listening to things and all that sort of stuff. But if they can combine a compelling story with that gameplay, that's got me day one every day of the week, I think.
And speaking of day one, Game Pass, everyone, Game Pass.
Is that confirmed?
And there is that too.
Yep, it is confirmed. It'll be Game Pass day one.
Perfect. It'll also be a Let's Install then on day one from Geek Aloud. And my hope against hope is that somebody in this game baits you by saying, lie to me. I just want to hear an enemy say, come on, lie to me. I think that'd be fantastic.
What else have we had? We also had Sonic Frontiers showed some more gameplay. That game's piquing my interest as well. Granted, it comes out, I think, a day before, day after, same day of God of War. So good luck, Sonic Frontiers, on that front. But the gameplay they did show actually was quite cool for that. But the one that I was really excited for, and I can't wait for, and I was actually excited for this game before Gamescom, is High on Life.
Oh, yes.
I cannot wait for High on Life. I think it's got that whole, like, Saints Row, doesn't take itself seriously. It's obviously got the humour of Rick and Morty.
It's got the bloody knife in it, mate. It's got the bloody knife in it, and I bloody love the voice. I can't get enough.
It's so good, and the gun's talking to you, and it just showed more gameplay, and I just enjoy the art style and graphics of this whole game, and I really enjoyed, what was the game they did on VR that was...
Oh,
it was initially on PlayStation, but it's also on Oculus now as well, where I'm trying to think of it, some purple guy's a platformer. It also had the same kind of humor and stuff as well. But a first-person shooter with this that looks this good and it looks like it's got the chops to sort of hit us with story and gameplay. I cannot wait for this game. I was a bit upset when I heard it got delayed just a little bit, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play this game. I think I'm going to have so much fun with it.
Yeah, I am keen. I love the humor. As I was saying before, this is so much more appealing to me than people complaining in Horizon Forbidden West.
Absolutely. I love a gun complaining at me about anything compared to the stuff there. But just the look of it, and I love the fact that you aim down sights and his like antennas become like the sights. It's just brilliant game design. I just can't wait to see what these guys do, because their games are so funny. Their sense of humor always sort of hits me as well. So I can't wait to see what they do with this game.
My only concern looking at the footage is that maybe there's a bit too much platforming in it for my skill set.
Oh, you're totally screwed in this area, particularly. But let's hopefully we've got some good accessibility and sliders for you.
They just needs a Troy slider and just turns off platforming. Everything turns into a ramp that you just walk up.
Ramp. I love it. Now there was a fair bit else in this show as well. Like we could go into, is what should we like? What else do we have?
Hold on, quick shout out to Moving Out 2 there. We were mentioning Moving Out, SMG Studio, Sydney developers. Moving Out 2 was in there.
Yeah, Moving Out 2's there, got announced. We also had new Tales from the Borderlands has also been announced as well. So I know a lot of people like the Tales of the Borderlands games and think the actual humour of that game is better than the Borderlands main series, which I probably find true as well. What else do we have? Just sort of flicking through here.
I'm just going to jump ahead, if I may, Steve, and highlight the Dualsense Edge. The PlayStation finally getting into the old Pro controller front, and I was meant to have a prop ready, and I don't. The DualSense Edge, of course, is gimping off a little bit of the Xbox Series, what is it called? The Elite Series X? Gosh, Steve, fact check me on that one.
Yeah, it's the Elite Series X. That's what we've got at the moment, or Elite Series 2, I think it's called.
Elite Series 2, indeed. But if I can, Steve, what I want to point out, key feature here for me, old man hands, what I have to do, I have to have the 4 paddles. The 4 paddles are crucial. You remap LB, RB to the top 2, and then it's, what is it? Left stick, right stick, the push in to the bottom 2 paddles. So I never have to push the thumbsticks in, and I never have to move my fingers up off the triggers, and that helps my old arthritic fingers out to no end. So for me, the critical feature is the 4 programmable buttons on the back, and allow me to just switch tabs here as I show you. I just got to pan down a little bit. Whoop. There's the mock-up, the render, if you will, and you can see right here, they've only given us 2 triggers. Not only that, the 2 triggers push in on the side. Allow me to grab a second prop. Here, from one of my trips to America, is a GameStop controller for the PlayStation 3, an old USB PlayStation 3. Allow me to flip it over and show you on the back the 2 triggers, very much like the Pro triggers that you're seeing there on the proposed, or the mock-up, if you will, of the PlayStation Edge controller. And I've got to say, these offset sticks that match that design, not the parallel sticks, the angled sticks, they are terrible. After 30 minutes of gameplay with the offset ones, my fingers are arthritic again. So not only have they boned me by not putting 4 on, only giving me 2, the 2 that they've put on are on the angle that for me I know is going to trigger my arthritis anyway. So I got to say, God damn, Sony, swing and a miss. Shit, what did you fellas think?
I've heard that the positioning of the sticks is probably not the best spot compared to the Elite Series that we've got on the Xbox, and the fact that you're only getting 2 as well. I mean, I find it hard even with my Elite Series. I just like that controller just for its weight and its sticks compared to anything else. Like, I don't really use the back buttons for much else, mainly because I've been playing games so long with the other buttons, I find it really hard. Even when I try to do it, my muscle memory is just not there to use those buttons regardless. But, I don't know. Again, I don't think they've given us a price for this controller either. Like, I could see.
I'll guess $600.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's going to be expensive, and I don't know. Like, I really like what they've already got with the DualSense anyway. So, the DualSense even I think is comparable to the Elite Series that I currently use, mainly because I don't use those panels anyway. So, I can't see myself forking out money for one of these Elite controls, especially with, I think, the price we're going to probably see here, especially in Australia as well, going to be quite inflated as well. So,
yeah, exactly. Exactly like the Last of Us remake, overpriced piece of shit, and I'll be giving it a miss until there's a significant price cut. What about you, Bully? Did it tickle you in any way?
Not in the slightest, and I think I've heard during the week, post the reveal, there'd been discussions and some leaking that the initial price on it is going to be somewhere in the $200 to $250 US dollar range.
So what?
Is what you're sort of looking at. So we're looking at 300 plus for a controller, and to be honest, I don't care how good it is. That is absurd.
No, outrageous behaviour. Oh, quick one while we're here, because I don't think we've got a news story about it. Or maybe we do. I'll just hold my tongue on that one. Sorry, Steve. Anything else on the Edge, fellas?
Nothing from me, mate.
Very good. Anything else then from Gamescom opening night, Unkie?
No, I think we've covered most of the things. There was a lot of other things there, but they're probably things
we've hit the highlights.
Yeah, there was a new Hogwarts Legacy trailer. I think the release has been pushed to Feb 10 next year as well. So that game looking cool, but yeah, again, it's not till next year.
Oh, speaking of pushes, speaking of pushes, anyone want to update their expectations for God of War? Anyone wanting to move it, or do you both think they're hitting the announced release date?
No, I'm still sticking to the hitting that date. I've been sticking to that.
Oh, you have? You have?
I'm not moving.
I thought the 4 weeks off maybe you'd change your tune. What about you, Bully?
No, I don't think they can move it now. And I think, in fact, there's a number of other games that are now either pulling forward or pushing back based on God of War's release date, knowing that they don't want to be anywhere near that.
Except
and
for Sonic. Sonic's like, fuck that, we're doing
it. He's the blue blur. He's got no fear.
Sonic's a mad lad. Sonic's a mad lad, and I'll still be picking that up.
Yeah, same.
Perfect. All right then, fellas, that can mean news story 2 is Dark Souls 3 PC servers have been brought back online after 7 months. Now, this the only reason, this is a quick story, the only reason I bring it up, we covered it originally when they took it down, and I just wanted to flag to everyone that if you recall, when they took them down, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, pretty confident over here that they had the server leaked and all the game and the source file, including Elden Ring, was leaked pre-launch, and they had to lock down their servers and took them all offline at the time. Do you recall this? Does that sound like an accurate recap to you?
It does. I saw this news thing chucked in there by yourself, and I was like, oh, I remember speaking about this. So, 7 months it's been. I didn't think it was that long ago.
7 months, but my point is going to be this. We never saw the source code come out. Like, they allegedly had the source code for all the FromSoft games. They never appeared online. So my question is this. Did it take Bandai Namco 7 months to negotiate the release of the hostage? It hasn't been announced anywhere, but my question is, do you think they finally paid up to get all their data back, and that's what's allowed them to bring the servers back online, and also why the source code was never released, because they've paid to get it back off the criminals?
Quite possibly. I'd like to think they don't negotiate with terrorists, but you just never know.
You don't, especially with Elden Ring bringing in so much bank. I reckon they maybe could have. Right. I think they could have paid the ransom and not even noticed the difference to the shareholders.
That is true.
That's my wild speculation based on nothing. That's the end of that story. That's the only reason I wanted to mention it. It's back, though. If you want to play online Dark Souls 3 on the PC, go for it. Next up from Steve's website, Stevivor, is the new Mafia game announced, and apparently it's a few years away. Steve, what's happening?
Well, there's not much happening. Obviously, they've obviously announced they've got a new Mafia game coming, which I'm all for, because the remake of the first game was really good. I think it was a couple of years ago now. I can't believe how good that game was and how good it looked and stuff. And I would love Mafia 2. I liked Mafia 3. I think Mafia 3, the story was really good, but the gameplay surrounding it, although the gameplay was good, it was a bit drawn out. The open world stuff was a bit sort of overdone and sort of drew that story out longer than it should have been. But I think Hangar 13 really know how to tell a good story, and I'm really excited the fact they're staying in the Mafia series where they bring it forward and we get more of a Sopranos, more contemporary version on the Mafia sort of story. I don't know, but I'm excited to see where they go, because just knowing that technology they've got with what they brought with that remaster or remake of the first one, I'm really looking forward to what they can do in the future.
It's exciting times. Bully, any thoughts on the recently announced Mafia game?
No, I'm probably with Steve. I played through the original ones when they were originally released, and the third one, and I was probably the same. I really loved the gunplay in the third one. Mm-hmm. But again, that it was just sort of a nothing world once you were outside of those little mission areas. I sort of found it. Haven't gone back to play the remake one, but from what I hear, it's very good. And if there's more of that on the way, then that's good to hear.
Nice
Well,
one.
I have to say that the remaster of the first one is almost a must play. That the story of that game, and it's just so well done now. It's such a tighter experience than number 3 that it just keeps going. You can't not keep playing it. Like it's got an open world, but it's not really an open world game. It's more story structured and just beautifully done, and just the combat's so much more fun and visceral and stuff. If you haven't played it and you get it cheap, definitely pick it up.
It's sitting in my shelf still in the shrink wrap, so I might have to break that open.
Indeed, I agree with you completely. But Unkie Dunkie, I've got a feeling, is it not in Game Pass currently? I'm pretty sure all 3 of the Mafia remakes are in Game Pass. Wait, no, it's not Game Pass. It's the PlayStation service. The PlayStation service currently has all 3 available.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So if you're liking what you're hearing about that, and you've got a PlayStation Plus Deluxe subscription, I'm not sure what level. The Deluxe subscription is the one I've got. And definitely all 3 recently released remasters are available in that service. If you have access to it, you might want to check them out. If you like what you've just heard. Story 4 this evening, PlayStation have purchased Savage Game Studios. Unkie.
Yeah, not much on this one other than the fact that it looks like Savage Game Studios does mobile gaming, so it looks like Sony's moving into the mobile gaming space as well. Not sure how much this excites me at all. I know this has got nothing to do with PlayStation at all, but I know there's a Division mobile game coming out, which I could be excited for, given the fact that hopefully it's free to play and it's got minimal microtransactions, but Division, we love that. Not sure where this goes. Do we get like a Sackboy Runs kind of game out of this? I don't know where they're going with it. Do we go Astrobot Runs? I don't know. I'm just naming a lot of runs games because that's what makes me think of mobile, but who knows? Bully, what are your thoughts?
Oh, please stay in your lane. I know there's money to be made, and I know that the shareholders need to be kept at bay, and I understand all that. But just stay in your lane, please.
Here it is.
Maybe give us some first party games, third part, like games that are really good. That stuff they've been promising for the last 2 years, and we haven't really got yet.
Well, I'll give you something when we start up story 5.
Wait, hold on. Before we move on, fellas, let me just reload the shotgun here. PlayStation, you've stepped up to the plate and you're about to take another swing and a miss, I think. What the hell are you guys doing? Take a look at Xbox. Take a look at Xbox Cloud. What is it? Game streaming. Unkie, help me out. What's the official title? Game Pass. xCloud. Take a look at xCloud. If you, in this day and age, are still making a mobile phone game, get out of the way. You're done. Your day's done. Go back 5 years. We don't need you anymore. Xbox have this in the bag. Take a look at it, would you? No one wants a mobile game. People want the Game Pass. No, people want the Game Pass library access. There are so many awesome console games that you can play perfectly on your smartphone just through the Game Pass app. PlayStation, pull your head out of your ass, get these guys to build your Game Pass equivalent and start streaming your God of War, start streaming your Last of Us. You are absolutely wasting money hand over fist here. You need 2 developers to sit down and write you the most basic app that then latches onto your back-end infrastructure of streaming that, still isn't in Australia. Jesus, fellas, tighten up your laces and get your game together. What is going on? Sony, come on, wake up. You're wasting money. You don't know what you're doing. My God, Xbox, a winner is you.
Go get him.
All right, story 5. Who wants to touch it? Oh, PlayStation 5's price increase! Swing and a miss. Jesus, Unkie, take the mic. I need a break.
Troy, I'm going to stop. Hang on, I have to interject here. I'm slapping them with an infringement notice, and if you reckon you had a rant, I've got one for you.
Sure, mate. Wait. Infringement notice, 4 points. Over to you, Bully.
Well, where do I start? Sony has again dropped the ball, has again that they are going so far down the anti-consumer path. I cannot understand what Jim Ryan and the rest of the company are thinking at the moment. Microsoft, they had them in the bag at the end of the Xbox One PS4 life cycle, and Microsoft have done everything right since then. And PlayStation, whether they thought they were better than what they were or couldn't be touched, they are digging a hole so far that they will. I don't see how they're going to get out of it. Microsoft aren't going to take them in this console era. I
No.
can tell you from my experience, I was a PS1, PS2 man when Xbox came out. There was a couple of games on that I jumped over to and stayed with the Xbox through the 360. I jumped back on the PS4 for one reason and one reason only, is because I missed out on the PS3 life cycle of the single player consumer-focused games that they had, and when they were put in that place behind the 360, they released the PS3 too late. They released it at a higher price. It didn't have the same features, and they clawed themselves back, and they have just dumped themselves in a hole again. And I don't know, as I said at the start, I do not understand what in the hell they are thinking. They are doing everything they can to drive the consumers away and stick them into Microsoft. And when you talk about what Microsoft's offering, and you just mentioned it before, Troy, the cloud gaming, the Game Pass, the day one releases, all that sort of stuff, that is just throwing everything they can at the consumer at the moment. And the best that PlayStation can do is a half-assed attempt at Game Pass. We've got a couple of PS1 games, but when we get to August, we're actually not going to give you any more than what we gave you to start with. You can just deal with the 12 that we've given you. We might throw a few in here. And by the way, you're never going to get a day one release.
Yeah.
And now you start to concentrate on mobile gaming. You've pivoted over to the PC. Stay in your lane and just do narrative-driven single-player games.
What's the last one remake?
Oh!
And don't get me started on that damn cash grab. That's a remake of a remake. That's a 10-year-old game that's based on an engine from 2 years ago. Come up with something else. You're anti-consumer at the moment, Sony. You can do better. Rant over.
Correct.
Well done, boy. Good rant. Good rant.
Indeed.
10 out of 10.
I love it. Yeah. So the price increase, as Bully says, very anti-consumer, which brings us to story 5. Xbox says the Series X and S price point remains the same. Microsoft just nailing in the coffin. I love it. Perfect. Get this. If you haven't got onto this generation yet, our tip, get onto the Xbox. Get yourself the Elite Series 2 if you're an old man hand with arthritis. Get on to the mobile phone game streaming. It's a phenomenal service. And what's that? They're not going to put the price up. Good on them. Whew. Anything from you fellas on the not moving price point of Xbox, or should we just dance on over to the next story?
Yeah, I think it speaks for itself.
I'm just going to throw out a slow clap, Microsoft.
Yeah, good. Good, I love it.
Indeed. All right, here we go. Now, a bit of the interesting news from the Sony front. Oh, I need to jump to the top to grab the title of the story. Now, this is from Game Luster. Sony reveals PlayStation player stats. US plays the most games and earns the least amount of trophies, but the icing on this cake, let's just jump to it. Check this one out. I think if I click on that, we get it a bit bigger. Look at that. Perfect. Like I meant it. Look at this. Disc-only sales and digital-only. I'm just blown away. It would be fantastic if there was the Australia thing there. But what I find just gobsmacking about this, let's just round it and call it 20% more people playing it digitally in the Australian market now. Like, why would you be paying, what is it, $120 for a new game, digitally, when you could go in or get Amazon to ship it to you or go to JB Hi-Fi, whatever, save yourself $20. I don't understand all these people jumping so heavily on digital, when there's such an increase in the price when you do it. Fellas, can either of you explain it to me?
I'm going to have to explain because I'm one of those people. I don't know. It's simplicity. It's easy. It's just there. You just do it. You don't have to get up and put a disc in your console. So you just sit on your sofa and you can flick between your games. I don't know. There's something about the simplicity of the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. You can set it up to install the day before. You're playing it the next day as opposed to having to jump out to a store. I don't know. It's probably just because I'm really lazy.
$20 price difference for every game all year.
No. Keep going. The Last of Us, when it originally got announced, 124 Australian dollars. You can get it on Amazon at the moment. I think I screenshotted you guys the other day. It's down to about $80. So we're talking about $45 off the digital price if you go through and get it physical at the moment.
Those stats are phenomenal to me. That many people have jumped on the digital price hike. I don't understand the world. What has it come to? Who knows? Let's move on, shall we, to the end of the news stories, as we do each and every week here on the Gaming Enforcement Agency. We jump over to Game Informer and look at their list of upcoming titles, releases, if you will, for this week. First on the pile is Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed, coming out today, August 30th, on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. Gentlemen, thoughts, feelings?
Digitally pre-ordered and should be available at 2300 hours tonight.
Bully, are you going to be picking this one up, mate?
Not a day one release for me. That's I'll kick that can down the road. I've got too much sitting on my shelf at the moment.
Would you happen to have a Destroy All Humans physical copy somewhere in your collection, do you reckon?
I have the first one of the remake, yes, the physical copy.
Beautiful, mate. Maybe fire that one up for the time being. Next up, we have Immortality coming to the Xbox Series X and S, PC, iOS, and Android. Once again, an August 30th release. I have no idea about this game. Unkie Dunkie, can you tell me anything by chance?
I know IGN just gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Bully, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I think it's a mystery type game that's it's almost like an interactive movie where you've my loose understanding at the moment, the way it sort of plays out is there's a movie actress. She filmed 3 movies over a 30-year period. There's the associated press junkets and stuff that go with it, and she's mysteriously disappeared. And that's all she's ever done. And these movies were never released. So you've got to watch through the movies, watch through the press stuff, and try and work out and piece together what's happened to her. So that's the general idea of it. And as you said, reviewing very, very well. And you've probably got no excuse not to check it out because it's a Game Pass day one release, and I've got it installed and ready to go.
Nice work. Just looking at the cover, I'm reminded very much of Twin Peaks, which is also a bit of a murder mystery. So if it's in the vein of the Twin Peaks writing, I'm a huge fan of that old series. So that'd be awesome. I'll have to check it out. Next up, we have an Inscription coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. Game Informer have slapped the 9 on it. Gentlemen, any thoughts on the Inscription?
I've heard good things about this. It's a card game as far as I'm concerned, but it sort of bucks the trend a fair bit as you move through the game, and it's got a few tricks up its sleeve, but I've heard really good things about this. I'm not sure if I'm in the mood to play something like this now, but I could be in the future.
Very good. Bully, will you be going hands-on cards?
Normally love myself a card game. I haven't actually seen anything into this one, so given the high rating it's got, it might be something worth looking into.
Very nice. Well, it comes out today, my friend, August 30th. Next up now, I can speak for everyone on the panel and say highly anticipated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection. It's coming out pretty much everywhere. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Unfortunately, Unkie Dunkie, Stadia hasn't made the list. It's coming out today, August 30th. And
you beat me to it. I was going to say, I can't get on Stadia. What's the point?
And looking into my crystal ball, Bully, I'm seeing a physical copy maybe pre-ordered for your good self. Is there one inbound?
You might call it a crystal bull.
That's some terrible jokes, but yes, it's been shipped off. It's in the mail. Hopefully, I'll get it tomorrow. And from what I've seen, it's been hailed as probably one of the best collection of old games that's been put together in a long time. There's artwork that goes with it. There's screenshots from the TV show. There's music from each of the games you can play. There's the stop rewind feature that we've sort of come to expect with that sort of stuff. It is along with the 12 games that are on there. So anyone that's even got a passing interest in the Turtles, I think this is almost a must play.
And I'll just throw it out there. They haven't listed iOS and Android, but of course it's on the Xbox Series X and X. So with xCloud, you could be streaming it from your home console straight to your mobile phone if you were so inclined. Another August 30th release. Has anyone looked at the trophies/achievements for this? How exciting is it?
I haven't, but I'm going to have to get us to move along pretty quick because I've got 17% left on my phone battery.
Whoa!
Let's go with it.
All right, then. Tiny King, next up. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC. Anyone? Nothing. Moving on. Oblitz, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Switch, PC, September 1st. Then we've got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battle R coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC. Release date September 2nd. Brief stop just to ask Bully, is this on your radar at all, mate? Sounds like it might be up your lane.
No, I've never got into any of the JoJo's games, so I know they stretch back a fair way, but not one that I've sort of looked into before. I might have to see what this one's about.
Very good. Next up, Lego Brawls, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XX, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, coming out September 2nd. Now, my boys love a good Lego game, but I know nothing about this. Anyone? Any thoughts and feelings, or are we moving on?
Let's move on. I got no idea about it.
Very good. Then, Made in the Abyss, Binary Star Falling into Darkness, PlayStation 4, Switch, PC, September 2nd. And then next up, I'm just going to go a bit quiet here as I say, hey, Bully, The Last of Us Part 1, PlayStation 5, September 2nd. What was that price?
Move on.
No, just quickly, what was the price?
The digital Australian release is $124 Australian.
You must be looking at the high-end collector's edition, surely.
You would think that.
I would.
Unfortunately, it's the bog standard remake of a remake with a 2-year-old engine.
Oh my God, thank God. That's the end of the news, and you all know what that means. It's time for everyone's favourite segment. That's right. It is...
Who will fight?
Who will fight? Unkie Donkey. Come on, mate. Who's fighting this evening in the standoff?
Mate, who's fine? We've got, we are back from the dead this week, so we are asking you which game franchises should come back from the dead, and should it be a new or next in the franchise? First up is Splinter Cell.
One quick reminder, I'll jump in. Splinter Cell, currently you can get the trilogy on the Xbox 2214. Sorry, Unkie, back to you.
That's right. We've had a lot of good Splinter Cell games. I actually really liked Blacklist, which is the most recent one in the series. Not sure what year that came out again, but I actually really enjoyed that game. Would love it if it got a 60 frame per second bump because I could play through that game again. But just, I don't know, this Splinter Cell has been away for so long. Sam Fisher, he's popped up in Ghost Recon, he's popped up in mobile games, but they just won't give us a Splinter Cell game. Troy and Bully, we need another one. I don't know whether we do a reboot, whether we do a next one in the series. What do we think?
I tell you, mate, I fired up, as I said, the opening of number 1 just today, and it got me so excited. I would pay very, very, not Last of Us remake money, but I would pay good money for a Splinter Cell 1 remake at this point. It would suit me down to the ground. How about you, Billy?
I would pay Last of Us remake money for this one if they remake Splinter Cell.
Wait, one condition, an absolute must condition. Michael Ironside must be the voice of Sam Fisher, and I won't hear an argument about it.
Oh, my word, my word.
All right, game 2, Unkie, what do we got?
Speaking of Naughty Dog and The Last of Us and remakes, we've got Jack and Daxter. I actually would love to see this come back as a slightly darker version of that duo, whether it's a platformer back to its initial roots on number 1, or whether we get the sort of more shooty shoot from 2 and 3. But I would really love to see this come back, whether it's Jack and Daxter 4, which is probably what I would like to see at Jack 4, other than going back and redoing the first one. But yeah, I could really see this coming back in a big way. And I think, given the fact that third-person action-adventure games, single-player games have come back into vogue as of recent, even though they tried to sort of say that's not what we want, but that's exactly what we want. I could see this coming back in a big way if they did the right thing with the new generation of consoles. What do you guys think?
If they're going to make it darker, fine, but for the love of God, do not have Daxter complaining at us for the entire time. Horizon Forbidden West, I'm looking at you. Fully
Look, at
edited
this
from
point,
you.
I'd even be happy with a Toys for Bob style
Ooh,
remake
yep.
like with Spyro and the first three Crash games. I reckon if they were put to work and jazzed it up for the new consoles, I'd take that at this point. I can't really see Naughty Dog jumping back into the Jack and Daxter waters, so I think that's probably the best we'd get with that one.
Indeed,
Yeah,
unless they want to charge $300 a copy, then maybe they would. All right, game 3 this evening. Looks like Sleeping Dogs to me, Unkie.
It is Sleeping Dogs. This is one of those ones that I'm surprised we never got a sequel to this. This was a game that was sort of touted as the sort of spiritual successor to True Crime games, which are also quite cool. But this game, you go back and play this now. It's got the 60 frames a second bump on the Xbox, and it still plays really well today. It's got a really cool open world. It's got a really awesome combat like system as well. Like it's up there with your Arkham as well, if not more complex than Arkham. It's got, environmental takedowns and all that kind of stuff, and a really cool story where you play sort of both sides as a cop and as part of the triads as well. Just a really cool game that I would love to see come back. I don't think you would see a remaster. I would love to see a sequel in this series, and it's just surprising to me that, with the lack of, open world crime games we've got, obviously since G.E.A. 5 came off and pretty much killed everything except for Saints Row that's finally come back from the dead as well, which fits in nicely to this conversation. But I would love to see another one of these. What do you guys think?
I would love to. I can't wait to see the old grab a guy, throw his head into the air conditioner, finish a move, done again. That'd be nice.
I really did enjoy some of the brutality of what was going on there. But when you talk about Unkie, the Series X or S bump on the performance, just jumping back a couple to the Splinter Cell one. So the Blacklist, Conviction, and Double Agent all have that bump as well. If that's enough to entice you back to them.
Ooh. I think Blacklist got the 4K up there. I don't know if it got the frames bump though.
I'm not sure. I'm just having a look at their compatibility list, and they're saying that all three of those games have enhancements. What the specifics of those are,
I reckon.
I don't have in front of me.
Yeah, because I remember thinking, it did get the 60 frames, but I think it only got the 4K, so it looks crisp as shit. But I still think it runs at 30 frames, unfortunately for me.
Back of the box quote there from Unkie, crisp as shit. I love it. All right. Game 4, Unkie, what is it?
Mercenaries, I believe. This is another one. Mercenaries, they obviously got Mercenaries and Mercenaries 2 as well, but this is another one of those like GTA sort of clone things, but I can't remember a whole lot about it other than the fact that I really enjoyed it. I think it was kind of Just Cause before Just Cause came out in terms of its wackiness and over-the-top action, and I would love to see this game come back as like a co-op sort of adventure action shooty game. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I loved it. I would love to go hands-on with some Mercenaries action, mate. You sign me up right now. What about you, Willie?
Oh, I was the same. I love both of them. It was just that over the top, and it was almost like that cross between almost had a little bit of GTA to it, but also like the original Battlefield ones where there was the huge map. You could go anywhere, you could do anything. You could jump in a helicopter, you could drive tanks, you could do all that sort of stuff, and you can just blow the smithereens out of everything.
Perfect. I love it. That brings us to game number 5. Oh, my goodness. Now, I've never touched this one, so Unkie, it's over to you.
Mate, I remember picking Snowboard Kids up on Nintendo 64, not even knowing a whole lot about it, and just absolutely enjoyed the ride. It was kind of like Mario Kart, but on obviously snowboards, and I almost at SSX on this list, but I'm like, no, let's go more random with Snowboard Kids and just get a brand new version of this in there with the story of these kids on snowboards. I don't think I ever played Snowboard Kids 3. I'm not even sure what that's even on, but I remember playing the original on Nintendo 64 and absolutely loving that game and the levels they had and the items. It was, as I said, it was Mario Kart on snowboards, and I think we're ripe for a remake of this one.
Tell you what, it's only hit me now, and I apologise, but Cool Borders would have been a good one to put in there because Cool Borders is Tony Hawk's, so Cool Borders plus guns, and we're back to Rollerdrome, Game of the Year contender. All right. What's next, mate?
All right, just up the Jack and Daxter alley, we have Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo 3, or however we want to do it. Like, I reckon we want a number 3 in this franchise. I think I think that there's a lot of rumors going around that this could be a thing. I'm not sure who's going to do it, but I think with our current technology, I think we're right for a revival of this duo. I think third-person action, or not even third-person action games, but platformers, I think this could come back in a big way. I think we've seen them had the revival in Smash Brothers recently. They had a cool trailer that was going back a couple of E3s ago, maybe, but everyone got pumped up. Everyone still loves Banjo-Kazooie. Their most recent game, Nuts and Bolts, kind of missed the beat with what Banjo-Kazooie does. We don't need them creating wacky vehicles and stuff to ride on and platforming and stuff. We just want to do what they do best, and that's work together in a platform game against Gruntilda the Witch. I'd love to see another one of these games.
Indeed. Bully, sorry, mate. I think I may have skipped you on the previous one. Did you have any thoughts on Snowboard Kids 3? Sorry, mate.
No, that's right. I think Unkie summed it up pretty well. It's Mario Kart on snow, barrel of laughs, bit of fun, and I agree. Due for a remake. Banjo-Kazooie again. I know we got the ukulele was the
yep.
A lot of the developers and guys that worked on the original Banjo-Kazooie jumped across and developed that one, which wasn't without its flaws and probably not quite up to the standard that we would have hoped. But I suppose in effect, if you transpose a bear and a bird to a lizard and a bat, you've pretty much got the same thing. But maybe just reskin it and see how we go.
I love it. All right, then. What is next? Oh, shout out one of my all-time favourites, Unkie Time Splitters.
Oh, Time Splitters. This thing's they've got to be working on another one somewhere, somehow.
Fingers crossed.
THQ Nordic's been rumoured to be doing a Time Splitters 2 remake, but I jumped in recently and re-downloaded, I think Time Splitters 3. It was like $2 or something on the Xbox store, and even playing that was kind of cool. And it was kind of the spiritual successor to GoldenEye, I think, back in the day.
Yeah, right.
As well. There was sort of it's got that cool art style, the cartoon art style, and the different time frames. I think you can really work a really cool first-person shooter around this today. And when I don't think you do a remaster. I think you'd maybe do a Time Splitters 3 and just completely sort of blow it out of the water and just move the story forward. But like some of the multiplayer stuff in Time Splitters was amazing, and I think they could bring that back. And obviously with Overwatch and stuff with that kind of art style now, it's obviously big, so it'd be a very similar thing going with Time Splitters. I'd love to see another one of these.
Oh, yeah, sign me up. Bully, Time Splitters, mate, is it yours?
Yeah, I love the original one. I thought it was fantastic, and even multiplayer before.
Oh, yeah.
Really, online jumped as much as it has in the last 10 or 15 years. I just can't understand why it hasn't been released. This is just right for a shortish single player campaign and an online shooter with the skins and all the rest of it. To me, it just reminds me almost of a Team Fortress style.
Yeah.
That you could, and I don't understand why you'd make a mint out of it.
Sign me up.
If you released it, yeah, 100%.
Perfect. All right, then. The next one on the list, Unkie. It's very vicious looking. Was Cliffy B involved, if memory serves?
Cliffy B, mate, the makers of Gears of War brought this game out, and it is such a cool game. I reinstalled it recently. It's got that 60 frame per second bump. You can actually play the main game as Duke Nukem himself, if you like, as well, with the downloaded DLC, which is quite cool. For this game, I remember finishing the campaign, and they set it up for a sequel perfectly, and we never got it. And it's a shame because such a cool first-person shooter with cool mechanics and cool scoring systems, and just the gore, the overtopness of it, the art direction of the whole game, I think is really well done. And I just cannot believe this game never got a sequel.
I agree with you, mate. And for those viewing at home, if you've got a PlayStation Plus Deluxe tier available, you can pick up Bulletstorm. It's included in that library somewhere in one of the millions of pages. Bully, what's your Bulletstorm feelings?
Or bully storm stories.
Oh, God, they're getting worse. It's getting late. You're getting fired. They're getting worse. No, I never played the original one, so I'd have to leave it with you boys.
Pick it up on...
Bully, do yourself a favour. Get it.
PlayStation Plus, mate. I know you're a subscriber. Download it. Check it out. It's worth the... Ooh, I'm going to go out on a limb and... No, I'm not going to guess the gigs.
No, I was just looking on the PlayStation Plus where we were talking before, and the Mafia games are there on there, so I can leave me a physical copy in the shrink wrap, and I'm already downloading the remake of the first one.
Perfect. Well, add
Nice.
Bulletstorm to that download queue, mate. It should be on there. Then next up, Army of Two. Now, I had some very fond memories of the Army of Two franchise. Unkie.
I love this. I think I didn't fall in love with it until the sequel. I can't remember what Army of Dead 2 was called.
The 40th Day or something.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds right. But I remember playing. I can't remember who I played it with, but we definitely played co-op. I played co-op with someone and just absolutely loved it. And I would love another one of these games. What do you call it? Army of 3, Army of 4, whatever you want to do, because you'll be able to play with more players these days. But it just had a cool attitude about it.
Yeah.
The whole back-to-back stuff where you go back-to-back and have that full movie moment where you're taking on guys back-to-back in slow motion. And
is that what, I'm blanking on her name, but the chick from Labyrinth did the Requiem for a Dream film, and at the end, does she go back-to-back?
Yeah, I reckon she does.
Yeah. Anyway, I was a big fan of the Army of Two franchise. What about you, Bully?
I was the opposite. I enjoyed the first one, not so much the second one, but I think this is in the mold of probably 3 or 4 games on this list. It's that early to mid 2000s, I guess almost the video game archetype of the time of big tough over the top boys, guns, shooting, all the rest of it. And for some reason, we just as an industry just seem to have gone away from a lot of that over the last probably 5 or 6 years.
Unfortunate. They were fun times.
I agree. They were just mindless sort of B-tier type games that were just fun to play. You didn't have to invest a lot of time or energy or thought process in them. They're just good fun games.
And now it's not on this list, but that's up there with 50 Cent Bulletstorm.
Blood in the
Whatever
Sand.
it was called. Blood in the Sand, that's the one. God, I love that game.
Such a good game. Bully, now tell me, do you have a physical copy of Blood in the Sand? Because, mate, that'd be worth a pretty penny these days.
I don't think I do.
Look into it. I would love to know if you had it next week. All right. Oh, wait, Bully, did you know? Yeah, we did cover it off. All right, so the next one. This is mine. This is all mine, boys. Get back. I am dying for a Rock Band 5. Give it to me. To this day, not a week goes by that I'm not firing up Rock Band and getting my plastic guitar fun on. Oh, God, I love Rock Band. Bully, what are your thoughts on the musical rhythm games?
Oh, I love the original ones. I reckon that was almost the big party game. I think it was I was sort of mid-20s at the time, and you'd all go and rent a house out for the weekend. Someone would bring the drum kit down and the guitars down and the microphone, and you'd have a few beers and you'd just start playing the songs and jumping on that, and it got everyone in the house involved, and it was just a great bit of fun. But I don't know. This is probably, I reckon, the least likely on the list, given that they relaunched it back in, 2014 or 15, whatever that was.
16, I think.
Funnily enough, both Rock Band and Guitar Hero tried to relaunch within the same 2 or 3 month period, and both bombed abysmally. So I think, unfortunately, that's probably the end of the old plastic musical instruments.
I got to say, mate, I am still at least once a month. I'm at least once a month dropping between $10 and $20 on DLC for Rock Band 4. I am still propping up these guys. I cannot get enough of Rock Band, and god damn do I want another one. Give it to me now, pretty please. Unkie, your Rock Band history, mate?
No, I don't have any Rock Band history. Like, obviously, and I know that I initially had Guitar Hero on this list because that was my sort of, foray into these sort of musical games. And I played a lot of Guitar Hero back in the day. But, they're pretty much one of the same, essentially, when it comes to what you're doing. It's a rhythm-based game. And I think Beat Saber and stuff like that's probably stolen its thunder in more recent times in terms of that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I can see the fun in bringing this back, and the problem we're going to have, obviously, is how much space you need and time and getting people together and the amount of different instruments and stuff you need to actually have and get into your foray of things to actually make this work. But, yeah, I could see there being a market for it. I don't know how many people are going to pay for all the things that accompany it.
Well,
Do it in VR.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guitars. I've got the electronic drum kit. I've got 6 microphones over there. I've got all the room you could want in the studio. Boys, come on over. If nothing else, we can fire up some Rock Band 4 and shit, we could have some fun. Oh, bring it back, please.
As long as I've got lead vocals.
Oh, believe me, mate, I can't sing for anything. Get me on that guitar, though. Lead guitar, it's all mine. Out of the way. Bully, what instrument do you grab when you're in here?
I'm going to fight you for that microphone, Unkie.
Ah,
Oh, you can take the microphone. I can't sing for shit. I'll take the drums.
Perfect. You've got the arms for it, Steve.
It's true. Funny. I just had the little thought there. How would that fare in VR if you had the headset on, standing up on the stage, and all that while you're
playing? Yeah, that can be cool.
As long as I've still got the guitar in my hand, as long as the guitar's not, make believe on the wands, but if it's the real guitar, but the VR, and I'm standing on stage and see the audience, sign me up. That's a future I want to live in. There's a chance you won't get me back out of it to come back and do one of these shows, though. Ooh, I might live there permanently. All right. The second to last, what do we call that? The penultimate, I believe. I'm not even going to try and say it. Unkie, help me out.
We've got Deus Ex, or as a lot of people call when they were younger, Deuce X. They were completely wrong. I've played all the Deus Exes. I remember playing the very first one. I think it was on PC back in the day, and then I played number 2. I played the more recent Mankind Divided, or whatever it was called. There's a few others as well, but I really enjoyed the RPG sort of first-person stuff they created with the Mankind Divided series, and I really enjoyed the yellow aesthetic they sort of brought to it. I feel like really cool games, really cool stories, really good stealth mechanics, and just really well-realized worlds, and I just would love to see this game come back. I'm surprised we haven't seen another one in this series already. I remember their developer, I can't remember what they did. They did something else other than Deus
Did they go on to do Prey? Am I thinking of the right people?
Well, Prey was...
it was Prey Arcane, which is Deathloop, and so not them. Swing and a miss.
I can't remember. Either way, I would love to see this franchise come back, because I think it was a really good series. Like, it didn't really have a misstep. Like, the last game that came out still reviewed really well, and it was such a good game in that series that I'm just really surprised we haven't seen it come back. So I don't know whether we see it come back where we have the same protagonist, or we go back to that number 1 and do a full remaster of number 1. But I would, love to see a new one in this franchise.
I'd love to see a new one as well, mate. One of the things I like most about this Dark World is I don't remember anyone complaining in it. But, Bully, what were your thoughts on it?
I enjoyed the first couple. The last one, which I think was, off the top of my head, was that Mankind Divided.
Yeah, that was the last one, yep.
It was half a developed game, because originally they had planned to release it either as a 2-part or with DLC to finish off the story. So you basically get to the end of the game as it stands, and it leaves you basically in the middle of a game, and that was always the plan with it. My understanding, I'm just having a quick look through, and I can't remember the whole ins and outs of it, but my understanding is they went defunct after releasing it, and that's why there's been no follow-up to it.
Oh, there you have it. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess. Do we assume Embracer owns the IP at this point?
Probably.
Embracer, throw some money at it, bring it back. All right, then. Sorry, Unkie. Yeah, no, we rounded everyone up on that one. Good one. All right, the final one of the evening, Mr. Kojima himself, Metal Gear Solid. Unkie?
Oh, this is like... I would love to see a new Metal Gear. Like, I don't think we need to want a remaster of the first one, because we sort of have that. We've sort of had that with the GameCube version that came out of the first one. I would love to see a brand new Metal Gear done by Kojima. It's obviously not going to happen because he's working on either Death Stranding 2 or something else, or one of the say he's doing 2 things. Apparently, he's got a podcast coming out soon that's going to be in English as well. By the looks of things, that's a whole other story. No, I would love to see a brand new Metal Gear. Metal Gear 5, just as good as the gameplay was, I wish that story was finished. I would love to see another tight campaign espionage game in the Metal Gear series, probably more so than any other game on this thing, which is, I'm sort of showing my hand here a little bit with what I want to see, but I would love to see a brand new Metal Gear. Obviously, I went back and started playing Peacemaker, as I said, earlier just to get that hit of Metal Gear, and even that was sort of doing it for me for an older game. But what do you guys think?
I love it. I would love another Metal Gear. I'm a big fan of the franchise. Bully, yourself?
I'm the same, but I'd probably take two parts of it. If it's going to stay with Capcom, it was Capcom, isn't it?
It was,
no,
yeah.
Konami. Sorry,
Konami. Oh, so,
Konami.
Yep.
If it's going to stay with them, can you give us a full PS5, Xbox Series remake
version of Metal Gear Survive?
Well, yes, Metal Gear Survive. Unheralded, unfairly criticised in my
Unfairly, yeah.
Give us a remake of the entire series up to date. I'd settle for that for a starting point, but I think going forward, I don't see how Konami can continue the franchise without Hideo Kojima attached to it.
No, they can't. They clearly can't.
Which, most of the little quirks and the
genius, I think, is the word you're looking for.
And well, not even that, but even little things like how, different ways he used it, especially in number 5, the way he used the environment and stuff like that he's put in there, which I don't think anyone else at Konami could do. So I can see the only really way going forward is if Kojima decides to either it's released by Konami to, say, PlayStation, or to Kojima to continue the story, or Kojima just starts up his own separate game title with similar themes and a similar story, but basically, starts from scratch again. And whether he's got that in him, I don't know.
Who knows? I would love to see, yes, it has to be a Kojima-led, but I would love to see a new Metal Gear if it was led by Kojima. But as you say, I'm not sure the businesses will ever line up unless embrace it by Konami and then gift it to Kojima Productions. I don't think that's going to happen, but that is the end of the nomination list. Now, Unkie Dunkie's already tipped his hand here. He's going for Metal Gear. Myself, back to number 1 for me, Splinter Cell, all the way. As much as I love Rock Band, if I had to pick, it'd be Splinter Cell. So, Bully, where's your vote landing?
Oh, I think you know where I'm at with this, and you're already sitting on the screen with it. Splinter Cell, give it to me. It's been dearly missed. Go back to what the original providers, which was an amazing story, amazing gameplay, and just enough with the teasing and the inserting characters in other games and little snippets here and there. Just give us the game, please.
Hey, did you know for $22.14 you can buy the original trilogy right now on Xbox?
I didn't know. How's this come to light?
Oh, it's news fresh off the Geek Aloud desk. Unkie Dunkie, it's 2-1 currently. Are we going to shift you over, or are we ending on a split decision here?
No, definitely not a split decision. I was already swinging my vote, even though I tipped my hand towards Metal Gear. I go back and I look at Splinter Cell and go, that's essentially what I want out of a new Metal Gear anyway, so it's Splinter Cell all the way.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, a winner is you for this week's Standoff. That concludes, of course, the Standoff, which brings us now to the 4th and final segment. Unkie Dunkie, what is happening in that there YouTube chat, sir?
Mate, we've had Charlie Morrison in there, Sean Gaines.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, Sean.
Gaming Raptors popped his head in there as well.
Welcome back, gentlemen. Welcome back.
What have we got? He's a few people. Sorry, been doing Clubs, Holiday and Moors from Charlie. Gaming Raptor says, man, Gamescom sucked. He's just coming out there with it. Deadline to his base, though. I don't know what based means, but that seems like a new age thing to say. Maybe that means he thinks it's good. I don't know. Gaming Raptor, maybe let us know what based means, because he also says that Troy is super base right now, LMAO. That was when you were having a rant, I think. So I'm not sure how those two things coincide. But anyway, and he also says Gotham Knights looks horrible. So Gaming Raptor is a bit in a negative mood tonight. Negative Nancy Gaming Raptor in the chat.
I dare suggest he's been playing one too many Sony games.
It looks that way. He goes, what sucks though is Deadline 2 is an Epic Game exclusive. He prefers Steam as well, so maybe a little bit salty about that. So
fair enough.
No, so a bit of you in the chat. Thank you, boys, tonight. Apologies for Gaming Raptors negativity in there.
It might just be because we left one off the Standoff, and that's Dino Crisis. Maybe it's a bit of a salty rapper.
Like, Bully, you have no idea. I actually had Dino Cross ready to go, and I totally forgot to put it in there. So apologies. It wouldn't have won, but it was definitely on the list at one point.
I reckon it would have run a close second.
It was, if we can get a proper remake, kind of like the Resident Evil with Dino Cross, is definitely up there. But hopefully no negativity like Horizon Zero Dawn with their dinosaurs.
Fantastic work. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this. Of course, we're off duty. Troy signing off.
Unkie Dunkie signing off, 7% battery, doing well.
I love it.
And Bully's off.
Beautiful work. Thank you very much for joining us here on Geek Lab for the Gaming Enforcement Agency. We'll be back each and every Tuesday night, 8 p.m.-ish. It's a big-ish sometimes. 4 weeks worth of an ish occasionally. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, Geek Loud lets installs to come during the week. What else can you do with the channel? Like it, subscribe it, you'll never miss it. Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's not it. I love everything about it. Ooh. Old Uncle Donkey. Donkey.